Sandals and shorts, and surf, and scuba, and sand, and sailing, and soccer. San Diego, California.
Previously on Two Balls and a Mic.
Season's greetings and welcome to Two Balls and a Mic, episode 270. Back here on a Monday after a long weekend of soccer in San Diego. San Diego FC win their first home game ever against LAFC 3-2. We're going to have highlights, reactions. You were down there. You got to feel the on-field passion that happened on Basher Field, SDFC's home. Also SDFC's home. The home of San Diego Wave, who also, where is it? There it is. Lost their first game of the season 2-1. 2-1. And Orlando Pride against the reigning defending champions. We're going to touch on that as well. We're going to go into a new segment. It's a little Know Your Enemy segment with a pal that we've had for years over in Seattle Sounders preview for SDFC coming here at the end in our Sarapes segment. We want to welcome everybody who is here on Instagram, on X, on YouTube, on San Diego Futbol's own channel. My name is Tony Sanchez. Season's greetings to Esteban. Had a great seat of the action as well down there at the pitch side. I saw that great content, a lot of local.
They saw you down there, right?
Yeah,
They scared me.
They scared you, just like their presence scared you.
Like someone said my name when do you ever get that when you're in a public place and someone says your name? Part of you is like, oh my god,
Hey,
they found me.
How many times have we just walked anywhere with Tony and someone says his name? Are you Tony?
That's never happened to me.
Oh,
Yeah, you don't.
I
Look
don't-
like,
I
you
it
don't
look
happened
like
to
Tony.
me on Thursday at the fucking SDFC trading.
No, it's actually it did.
At
But-
the training?
Yeah, but like a security or something.
Uh,
Are you Tony? Commentator for the Soccers?
And I was right behind him.
Yeah.
And I heard that, and it just like,
maybe that was like a joke. Maybe that's what.
no, it really was not.
No, like he stayed back. I kept walking. I was like, it's not my conversation.
Nah, it was cool. Shout out Emilio. But thank you everybody for joining. We had a great time out there at Snapdragon Stadium on Saturday. Touched a little bit on the pregame. We got a lot of pregame footage, but only one little snippet actually made it on there. So we'll get into it in goals, gaps, and greats here at the top of the show. We're also obviously we had slated to get Ricardo Campos here tonight. However, with him being the operations vice president of San Diego FC, there's a lot of operational things that happened pre and post match of LAFC, especially post match, that are getting worked out. So we just kind of agreed that it's the best once we have actual information about certain, let's say, extracurricular activities, little punchies outside of Snapdragon Stadium. Once there's more information on that, we can sit down and have a more meaningful conversation on there. But it's all good. We did have information as far as some of that developing story, because sure, this is what you come here for. The developing stories for soccer in San Diego. The initial guy, and we'll get into it once again, as I mentioned, has been identified. Just the initial dude in that brawl, the bigger, balder, dangerous looking guy.
El gordo ese, mamón?
Yeah,
Like
he's
a
been
madrazote?
identified
Ooh.
as well as the secondary, one of the secondary
Baldy.
fellows. So that's this is what you come to San Diego Futbol for, the justice segment of Two Balls and a Mic. So welcome in everybody. Yes, Abe is currently doing crossword puzzle. It is part of a larger I'm gonna say bit that you kind of you brought the entire Union Tribune.
No. By the way, we've answered all of the ones he has for him.
Yeah, no, it's kind of
No, I got a question for the chat. There's a soccer question in here.
Oh, okay. There's a soccer
or
question.
or you guys, if you guys know the answer.
I am chat.
This is a 5-letter word. German soccer legend Manuel, who innovated
Neuer.
the sweeper keeper
Neuer.
role.
Neuer.
Yeah.
Come on.
N-E-U.
Neuer.
Yeah. There you go. 5-letter word. There you go.
Absolutely. Shout out for everybody playing at home. El Toro Fuerte, Josué Chiquilín Villanueva. We coming for you. But yeah, it was a good match out there. What a hat. Absolutely. Repping the other San Diego team because I am a San Diego fan.
Undefeated, right?
Undefeated,
Yeah.
as well as San Diego FC undefeated at home, finally getting their first win. And before we move on, yes, you are recognized. I was a guest at some point in the past of the Emo Brown podcast, and you actually came up. Emo Brown, the main guy, main boy Steve, works with your pops.
Mhm.
The great.
I met him at a baseball game one time.
Do you call him
actually.
Uncle Steve?
Uncle Steve.
Theo.
Theo Steve. Do you actually call him?
I don't
Theo?
know.
Okay.
Call him
Theo
Steve.
Oye,
Steve.
Theo. Love
Like a
that.
sponsorship, Theo Steve.
So that's going to be coming out on the weekly for the Emo Brown podcast. Check that out when it drops. I did also invite him to try to score on me. He hasn't scored on me. Mira, se le hizo así. Dos veces. And he's one of the loyal Instagram viewers. I know he was at the Padres game, but he's like, hey, wait, you always ignore me. I'm like, the way this works, the way the comments. So sorry about that, Steve. If you're in the comments, I hope I don't overlook you. And if I do, it's fine until you score on me. All right. Gentlemen, I think we are in prime position welcoming everybody in. Let's go ahead and see some of the highlights of this weekend in goals, gaffes, and greats. I like the speed that we're going today.
Yeah,
this
it's
is really
nice. It's
good.
really good.
Hey, awesome. I love that.
Boom, punchy.
Running
Right,
over
punchy.
12-hour
You like that word,
shift.
didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, work.
Who knows? I'm on.
Hey, yo trabajé, güey. Anyways, goals, gaffes, and greats. We talk about the great highlights, the low lights, and the great lights of soccer in San Diego. That made sense. That made sense to me. Of the weekend in soccer in San Diego, we've asked the community to provide some of these things. Sounds like great fundraiser. Try to score on Tony. Absolutely.
It's a great carnival game.
It would be a great carnival game, depending which side, right? For every goal, like it's a donation to Children's Hospital, or for every stop. Because I'll tell you, if you wager the stop side, we're raising some money for some kiddos. All right. If we're going who can score,
So, like,
I'm pretty much taking casts.
Like no
off of
money was raised.
Depends what type of goal it is. If
I
it's
will-
a full-on size goal and you doing penalties.
No, I will foreclose some
Yeah, no.
crutches off of some kiddos. I'm okay. Like, hey, sorry, that's mine now. I stopped eight shots here. Let's 100% do it. If I was in a fight, I'd want Abe standing next to me taking video.
That's a interesting comment. We were actually talking about this before the show
right
started,
before.
which is kind of hilarious. I've never taken a video of a fight. I'll say that.
Were you?
Oh, you never done.
I was never that kid. I was never that guy.
World star.
Well,
I'd be around. I definitely wouldn't run away when I would see them. I would always.
Tony
go
runs
watch.
faster.
Oh, 1000%. I run faster than anybody in this room.
That is a humongous lie. I would smoke you I would smoke you in any kind of sprint distance race at all. I would
put $1,000 on Abe.
First of all, let's get $1,000 to get some new equipment, and then we start wagering in between ourselves.
Hey, unos chequecitos más, no pedo.
I would have either Abe or Chiva sitting in the dunk tank if they score on Tony. Dude, I'm letting every goal in. That's just for the bit.
No,
All right.
you couldn't even do that to yourself.
All right, let's dive into our
Yeah.
goal of the week.
All right, goal of the week is actually courtesy of this weekend's game. You may not, again, we welcome anybody who disagrees. You can go ahead and send them, but this was really the only one that was sent to us over the weekend. And let me tell you, it was a fantastic goal here at Snapdragon Stadium. You know exactly what we're talking about. That moment, a big portion of the audience and attendance exploded. And it was actually very loud when it happened, but it's not what you think. I don't think it is. It's what you think, because honestly, the goal of the week is the following.
Expansion teams could be in this league along with Atlanta. This is promising now. LAFC can get one back to Bawanga. That's nifty. It's blocked by McVay. Oh, goal!
I think arguably one of the best goals we've seen at Snapdragon, like bangers.
Yeah.
Like, you know which one was this good too? Marco Royce against Loyola, that free kick was fucking good, but this one was just, it changed the tone of the game. Like SDFC were, and we'll talk about it, like they were building that momentum. They just scored the third goal, and this kind of like gave a bucket of ice water to San Diego FC and to the fans in Snapdragon. So it was a bang. Even Mikey Vada said post game, like, that was just a fantastic goal. Like, it's un golazo, like nothing to do there.
Just where he puts it. Like, oh man.
Hey, the Padres just scored 3 home runs.
Shout out to the Padres, about to go 5-0, as Cobra said in the chat. San Diego absolutely doing their bit. Every single home game that was played in San Diego.
Esteban agrees.
That
has to be the best goal scored at Snapdragon.
I'm trying to like rake my brain for one of the wave goals, and like the only thing I come up with, like maybe like a Jaden Shaw goal that was really good, but like
no.
Pero no como este,
No.
right?
It was that like it was practically an Olympic goal in that playoff game.
I'm also racking my brain now in like Panama, US goals.
Marco Royce free kick.
Marco Royce free kick was pretty good on Duran Free. All right. I actually had a separate thought. And it was actually one of the goals for SDFC, the third goal. If you're a fan of just association football, tell me this isn't a pretty goal. Like,
oh, like a team goal?
Like a team goal.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I mean, boom.
And I don't even think the highlight reel gives it justice. I think it was even more the build up before that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was just a great team goal as well.
Where'd it go? ¿Dónde estás, Alex Maiton?
By the way, I mean, before we get on it, but like, you guys think Maiton had a great game? I thought he had a fantastic game.
Oh yeah, Maiton was solid in that wing role.
Yeah, I don't like the way with the highlights because it does not serve it justice. Here's this goal.
Yeah.
And their mother thought LAFC would come in here and counter and transition San Diego off the field.
I don't even know how many SDFC players touched the ball before this, but I would say it's close to like 7 of the 11 players touched the ball on this play. Like that was just fantastic, and I think Mikey Varas, I mean, deservedly so. Fast forward, we didn't nominate for him great, but he was the team of the match like week for the MLS. So this was just a fantastic goal. So this is a great shout, Tony.
Absolutely. Only about like kind of getting that last second touch here.
Casi la falla también.
Yeah,
almost misses it, but it's a tight angle.
Almost made gaff of the week as well.
I was on the far post, like just behind them, and as I saw this pass come in, like the whole time, it just sits there in the middle for so long. I'm like, why is no one there to shoot? And then finally, like Maiton comes in at the end. I think this is like one of the prettier ways to score, when it's like on the back post and they're just waiting and the ball's like rolling slowly because you're like, oh, what's gonna, like there's a little bit of a silence before.
Yeah.
Like that's the beauty of sports.
Do you remember that one team goal from Wave where McCaskill kind of built up the play, and it was one of those really great team goals? And we talked to her after, it's like, hey, like she's like, that was just pretty football from us. And like, you guys remember that goal last season?
That was a good team goal.
Yeah, it's similar to that. I mean, also similar to the one that Loyal scored against Sacramento from the goal kick.
It's a different stadium though.
A different stadium.
Different
I agree,
stadium.
but similar type of
Valakari in the 9 from now on. That's going to be a pointed topic here.
You gotta have that.
Gotta have them, especially because you have your actual number 9 out, and the person who's actually wearing number 9 is not doing so well right now in that position. He's struggling. Tomas Angeles is struggling.
Those are goals of the week. Let's try. Do we want to move on to our gap of the week?
Let's do it. Comes courtesy of one, and you talked to Tomas Angel about this at media availability on Thursday, and
I mean, we asked Tomas Angel, right? Like even in Spanish, but like, hey, dude, like, is there any added pressure knowing that you're facing a goalkeeper of the like stature of Hugo Lloris, a World Cup winner? He was the starting goalkeeper the whole World Cup, won the World Cup. Like he's a high level profile goalkeeper, like amongst the greats greatest of goalkeepers in the history. Like he's up there.
Mhm.
And he said, yeah, I mean, it's not out of pressure, but if you score on him, you can say, wow, I scored a goal on Hugo Lloris. Like he's another goalkeeper, but he's still kind of like, oh, like I scored on this guy.
But guess what? That did happen. Somebody did score on Hugo Lloris, and it was thanks to the gap of the week.
Again, floating this time all the way to Lloris. Oh, he dropped it! And it's in! It's 2!
Set pieces from Dreyer have been so dangerous.
Man. Like, I don't know, Tony. You're the goalkeeper, man. Like,
man.
I don't know if you ever told yourself, wow, I'm going to get to like
Criticize
Hugo Lloris. We have
in front of me.
We have a friend of ours that's a Tottenham fan as well, and texts us like, oh, like he plays for Tottenham. He used to play for Tottenham or something like that.
Yeah, he still has a Tottenham in him.
Yeah, he does.
You can take the boy out of Tottenham, but
I think this is the MLS in him. When you join MLS, things like this happen.
Again, liken it to wrestling. Any wrestler that wears a referee shirt on, if he gets one punched, he's down for 10 minutes. Even if even if it's The Rock, like if you touch him, he's down for 10 minutes, knocked out, unconscious. It's just some like weird thing with like an MLS. He just
kind of, or they just like
malaise.
immediately spam their finisher on them because they touched.
Very true. Very true. But yeah, this moment is just nightmarish. It's nightmare fuel. I will say, give credit to who did end up being the player of the match day, Chris McVeigh, because he gets again in a perfect position to block the view and the direction of how this ball is about to drop for Lloris. No excuse for him to drop it, but that's exactly what happened. Chris McVeigh gets in the way. He's a very tall man, and Lloris is already thinking, man, I'm going to have to react because he got there again. So he's not necessarily coming out with the confidence of him going to trap the ball. He has in the back of his mind that he's going to need to either parry this or just somehow get to it before. It's not going to happen. But then when it suddenly drops in front of you, you are not necessarily expecting it. The ball's slick. You come down to it. It happens in between your legs. You're just in no man's land there. Valakari looks up. Boom. Easy peasy. Just tap it in for the second goal. But that is the gaff of the week. I agree with Saul.
I like Brandon's shout for the gaff. That Chucky 101 1-on-1. That was such a big miss.
That was a rusty Chucky right there, man. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what he tried to do. Should have just shot it first touch, but yeah, that's also a big shout there. Like he should have scored that one.
Give credit to your pal. What's Emma?
Oh,
we had somebody. So we have
Manny Alonso
taking pictures. We had at Young the Ryan. We've had yourself.
Look at this question.
What's up?
Is Lloris the biggest player to play at Snap in an official match?
Still Alex Morgan, but
yeah,
still Alex Morgan. I agree.
Chiva said that, actually, not me. You guys attacked Chiva.
No, that was great. That was good. Attack me. I don't care.
Okay, who's the biggest men's?
Maybe the biggest goalkeeper. Who's the biggest men's player to play at Snapdragon in an official match?
Who has played?
Oh,
what was the name of the Bishop, the goalkeeper that got booed, even though he got subbed out for Manchester United after knocking out
one of the Wrexham players, actually.
Oh yeah.
So this is a great series right here coming up.
No, Casemiro.
Casemiro, yeah.
3 Champions League.
Yeah, Casemiro.
Yeah.
Of that moment coming into it, seeing your
look at all that green area. You can't miss. That's practically from the penalty spot, right?
A little before it, but yeah, like I think he still looked a little slower. He still looked like he was. I mean, he hasn't played in 4 weeks. I think you always play with the back of your mind, like I just pulled my hammy. Like I gotta be careful. He said in the post match that he's 100%.
Yeah,
like that's what he said. But there's always some precautions coming back from an injury. At the end of the day, at that age, you could always re-injure. So he got 20 minutes. That's kind of like what we talked about. Like he'll come in 20 minutes if needed. They definitely needed it after that red card. But what is also commentator said he might have been offsides.
Yeah, he might have been offsides, but he didn't. Like it's one of these things where mentally, if you're playing a game and the call's offside or it's going to be offsides anyway, as a goalkeeper, you take tacks and you still stop that. If the ball misses, to yourself, you say, he still would have missed, or I would have stopped it anyways. But because this played out as if it wasn't offside. So Lloris and Chucky had no idea there was a flag up or would have been up. This was played live. And so at the end of the day, this is a miss. because if it goes in, yeah, it's a goal. It might get brought back from VAR, but it's still a goal. You still prove to yourself that, yes, I can get it past the goalkeeper today. It's just a matter of time. And so, it might have been offsides, sure, but either way, Chucky could have definitely needed that confidence booster. But yeah, that is the gaff of the week. You had another one in MLS, but there's a lot of. I think this one just takes
I
it.
think
Just
there's
the level
in MLS every week. So.
The level of disappointment that I had for Hugo Lloris's performance. I was like, man, like I want to see a good performance from him.
It was pretty sad. Like, I mean, he had some great like that Valakari save.
Yeah.
In the second
the
half,
Valakari save was one
abajo.
hand to the right. No, it was really good. I mean, he did everything right on this one. We'll get again.
I mean,
we'll break down with highlights here in a bit.
These are some downs, but let's talk about some greats.
All right.
There's a couple of greats.
There's a couple of greats in San Diego. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's gonna go ahead and be no.
The fact that you pulled this when we're talking about greats is like okay.
No,
and it's
because
a TMZ article. Too.
Yes, this is actually highlights.
Okay,
highlights. This is the spin, guys. Oh, I'm preemptively high five myself. The grade of the week. Look, I will give credit when credit is due. I love giving credit. People say, es bien negativo, blah, 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 blah.
Pesimista.
You know who told me again? Your buddy Steve from the Emo Brown podcast was like, Theo Steve. I'm checking for you, Steve. Are you here? No, you're not. Good. You're gonna hear this again. I had a couple conversations before the game of SDFC with supporters, and the reality that 3252 and LAFC supporters were going to come in force, and they did. They were there. That is the gold standard for supporter groups in MLS. Maybe that Timbers Army. There's just a couple of bright spots in MLS for that. Everybody knew what was going to happen. Everybody knew the numbers of people in those stands. All 7 groups absolutely brought it, and not only brought it, yeah, at least there were tussles in the outside, but at least you guys didn't act like animals at the end of the day. And I'm not calling every single LAFC fan or every single LA person an absolute animal, but the people who were involved with animalistic behavior after the match, is just don't do that. Like, so the great of the week goes to Frontera San Diego. Frontera San Diego kept up during the match. As soon as LAFC started, because they didn't start chanting until the game kicked off.
3 minutes into the match, actually,
and they
3 minutes.
let off the
cannon,
nice little glitter
Yeah.
cannon.
Did they snuck that in? Right,
They
snuck that in.
Some smoke in there.
Cool.
It was as cool as it gets. And here's the part that gets me. That guy, actually, I don't know if I told you, that guy that sucker punched the bald guy with the beard. I interacted. 100%. I interacted with him because I went over pre-match to that supporter section just to get a gauge of like how many people are here. Our buddy Eric Sanchez was there in the middle of it, just talking shit. But I was like, okay, and I interacted with him because he had actually been very nice and kind to a San Diego FC family that was sitting in that area, and told him, hey, like, I'm gonna tell you right now, you guys are not gonna want to be here. This is not going to be a good place for you. Like, this is not for you. I would suggest you guys leave. I took that as like, you know what? That's kind. You know, that madre, it's a family. Like I was like, okay, that's cool. That same guy is the one that sucker punched at the end. I was like, vato. From what I've heard, he's a teddy bear. He's a but not that moment. And the great goes again to San Diego.
Look, you may not want to call out LA fans. You may not want to be rude to them. I was born in LA. I don't give a fuck.
Well,
fucking ghetto ass LA people, man. Like, it's just embarrassing. Like, you come down to an away game, your team sucks, your team underperforms, and then you act like that outside. I get it. Siempre va a haber madrazos, especially in a rivalry game. But to sucker punch someone like that, that's just ghetto. Whoever you are, bald motherfucker, like, you're a piece of shit.
He's coming after
you. I think
simple as that.
I think fights happen in all sports.
They do.
And using language that can kind of have like a little bit more meaning behind it. I refrain from that. Like, I wouldn't call it ghetto because it just happens in every single
To
sporting
sucker
event.
punch like that though?
Yeah,
That's-
people get sucker
no,
punched all the
no,
time in sporting
no,
events. Dude.
pinchato.
Dude,
No.
there's an NFL thing every single weekend of someone getting into a fight at a game because they're drunk and they're drinking too much. This is an issue around the world where people get into fights and stuff. And yes, it's horrible. It really sucks to see, but I don't know, man. It's
No, dude. No. I mean, I'm from LA. I can talk my shit.
I think that's just
Fucking-
the parlance that you're
Yeah.
disagreeing with at this
yeah,
point.
just
The
that I
sentiment is
obviously
there.
yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, like you just don't get into a fight. Anyone, it's so stupid.
And if you do, square up. Don't do it from the back like that. No sean así. No mames.
Also, again, I'm not sure what the solution is here. It happens everywhere. It happens with LA and Dodger fans at the gas lamp.
yeah. If anything, I expected it to be worse.
If anything,
I'm on it.
Yeah,
well, yes,
yeah.
yes. I also expected security and San Diego police to do better other than just spectate.
Yeah,
Mm.
outside the state, it's one security, one police. Why would if you're one officer, how are you going to get involved in like a huge skirmish like that? If anything, you're only escalating the situation.
They should have been prepared.
That's true.
Should have been
You
prepared.
should have been prepared.
That,
yeah,
that's that. And again, for next time, they learned something in the first home opening game with the chants. They kind of they adjusted from then. They learned. We'll see how they adjust next time LAFC makes their way down here, or with LA Galaxy. But I presume LAFC versus SDFC is unfortunately kind of heading in this territory. There was jersey burnings. There was all the
Yeah,
pageantry
yeah.
around, and like, oh, this. Like, okay, it happened. Guess what? The best thing for San Diego FC was that they won 3-2, and good. They've never lost against an LA team. San Diego has never lost in the top flight men's soccer against a team from LA. So that's just fact. Until otherwise, San Diego is greater than LA in soccer on the men's side. So good job. Because again, I like that once they started 3252 started chanting, San Diego Frontera was doing their thing, but then the entire stadium almost backed them up in booing
Oh
in
yeah,
that
Oh, yeah,
direction
that was
really
and
cool.
quieted them.
that
So
was kind of fun.
that was a good moment again. So San Diego supporters to kind of come in, galvanize, and a lot of lessons learned. I would hope in a positive way. Nothing again. San Diego Frontera did their thing. They did their thing, and
I have
they
another
kept
great.
up. Good job. What's up?
I have another great, and I want to big shout out to Mikey Vadas and Chris Medvay making the team of the match day. Mikey Vadas keeps surprising with the lineups. Like I think he rotates that back line very well. He keeps surprising. He keeps putting different things out there. Like he threw Valakari at the 9 this time, and it
Mhm.
worked out. I think this dude is just very sneaky, and I think it's hard to predict what he's going to do. The fact that he's willing to play an 18-year-old back-to-back starting days on the left back position, and then I don't know where brings back Franco Negri and Loflusen. Like this dude is smart with it, and I
Mhm.
think teams are kind of catching an eye on that already. But it's hard to predict what he's gonna do.
A lot of it has to do with what he has to do again because of Marcos Invarson being out for a certain amount of time, officially for a while. But that's neither here nor there. But the team that was there got it done 3-2. So that is once again goals, gaffes, and greats for the week. All right. Yes, you are doing the crossword puzzle.
Any
Sorry,
I,
Sorry,
I,
to-
I have a few burps in me today, so I've been trying to like quietly like.
Wait, te cagaste o qué pedo?
It's baseball. I've been holding it. I usually have like a weird fidgety thing around here, just because I don't know.
Do you like
I've
fidget
been-
toys?
No, I don't. They look weird. I like actual things in my hand. It's either a pen usually, or just like something.
Where are you on the spectrum?
What spectrum?
I mean, we're all on it.
What spectrum are you talking about?
I mean, the spectrum. There's one spectrum.
No, there's plenty of spectrums. There's color spectrums. There's.
Do you really
spectrums
think I'd
with
be asking you what
sexuality,
color
there's
spectrum you'd be at? You
¿Cuál
know how I
tism
see it.
tienes, güey?
What?
¿Cuál tism tienes?
I don't know, man. That's
Turismo? Gran Turismo? All right. Let's go ahead and talk about the actual game. Let's break down because it was a good one out there for San Diego FC. San Diego FC have defeated LAFC 3-2 in their first encounter ever here in San Diego. They took it to the Dorados y Negros, the LAFC. It was a good match. At the end of the day, did it pan out how everybody thought? Maybe not.
Before we start talking about the game, I think it'd be really important to just kind of update everyone where we're at on our predictions challenge.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I will say Tony and I called a tie in this one, so we were both wrong. So we don't get a point there.
Zoom in here.
Abe called a win, a 2-1 win.
Oh,
Pretty close. So you do get a point there, Abe. So now you're top of the lead by 2. Abe leads with 4 points, Tony with 2, and I only have 1 point.
For those of you
doing very bad.
For those of you keeping score at home, the loser and last place has to walk from here, the studio, all the way to Snapdragon Stadium with a soccer ball.
dribbling a soccer ball.
Okay.
Not well.
This is, and we had the clause, right? If you are picking it up, you have to have
You have to keep it gloves.
Cool. Just making sure, because I'm positionally, it just makes sense for me to have it in my hand the whole time as a goalkeeper.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're a loser,
I'll wear the gloves too, and carry it the whole time. That's fine.
We need some sponsors for that. We need to force comes the hell out of that.
Yeah, we
Like,
do.
let's do it. I started.
We need to map out a brewery or like spots where you can go drink a
I like
beer
that.
or something on the way. Like
Puta madre, güey.
no. And if you chug a beer, like el Tony te da raite o el que no te da raite.
No.
Una milla.
No.
Hey,
no,
why
no,
not?
No.
Maybe, but you have to like shotgun it or something.
Yeah, like for every beer you chug, like te dan raite una milla. Like,
why are you trying to make this good for you?
Porque voy perdiendo.
I know. Yeah, it's gonna be
Estoy
fun.
valiendo madre.
17 miles. I wouldn't dribble it crossing the street though. Safety first. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Safety is
definitely.
number one priority. Accepting challenges.
You gotta like do the thing as a goalkeeper does, where you like dive on it and you like hold it for a few seconds, then you can like stand up and start walking.
I like
That'd be
that.
kind of funny.
But
But it was a good game. I predicted a victory just because I had a feeling that LAFC wouldn't put out their absolute best lineup, and I think
they did.
They did, and they played plenty of minutes too, which surprised me. And San Diego was able to like be on the front foot and look amazing for that first half, getting those first 3 goals, and then like obviously that defense faltered. I think this is probably what we all expected San Diego to look like when the season started, where they score a lot, they're really good offensively, and then the defense has some moments where you're like, "Ooh."
Look. I mean, again, props to Mikey Varas because he drops a gem of a starting. I think this is probably the best starting lineup he's dropped this season. Available so far. I mean, I even like this even better than the first game where they beat Galaxy with Chucky on the lineup. I think Alex Maiden had a great performance, but you switch out the back line. This was the starting back line that you originated with Negri, Lofelsen, McVeigh, and Patty McNair. McVeigh has just stepped up tremendously. At this point, I don't even think the team needs Andres Reyes anymore. Like Chris McVeigh has just definitely been an all-star player so far for San Diego FC, and he got his first goal for the club. Then you have Yepe. Yepe's untouchable. He's going to start. He's your captain. Godoy comes back as well from international duty, and again, one of the best players on that team so far. You have Luca de la Torre, who's just, again, untouchable. Those 3 guys on midfield, untouchable. They're never going to change unless there's an injury, unless there's fatigue, unless there's something that Mikey Varas is going to say, oh, it's just a little knock, or I'm going to give him a break or something, right? And there's Dreyer, untouchable. Like your DP, your right winger, superestrella. Balakari starts at the striker position. We've seen this guy in the midfield. We've seen this guy on the wing, now up top. Genius move. I don't know if it's like a starting striker, a false 9. I don't know what the heck it was, but it worked. And then you give the kid that people have been asking for, Alex Maiden, a chance.
Yeah.
He could be a tronco. He could be whatever. He could be predictable. He could run up players. But he scored, and he had a pretty good game. Like, he made that defensive back line from LAFC be on their toes. And again, I think this was a 10 out of 10 lineup for Mikey Varas.
People were asking for him. People were asking for Alex Maiden for a while. And I think it had to do a lot with the lack of production of Invartsen to begin with, and just kind of asking for something else on the offensive side. Not necessarily asking for Chucky out, just knowing that Chucky is going to give you the best chance that you
Yeah,
you will have.
Once Chuki's healthy and can play a full at least 60 minutes, I think he's going to take over that left wing position.
But this is a team that's dictated by what happens in the midfield, and the midfield is just a brave bunch of ballers out there. And starting with Godoy. Godoy is that guy that is you're not to mess with him. He's going to go ahead and put you in your place, strength wise, and a true leader. Again, to be a leader amongst leaders is incredible, right? Like you have Sverskov, you have Paddy McNair, you have Godoy, who's a captain himself. You have people who should be captains by the way that they just operate in and how hard they play. And another player that just is playing hard right now is, again, who ends up being the player of the
And a penalty call that was iffy. Dreyer will serve. Flicked off.
It's just a great header. Anders Dreyer, I mean, great crosses from him. I think set pieces is one of the strengths of San Diego FC.
That's 3 goals.
Like the way they're just delivering those set pieces, whether it's from a free kick, from a corner kick. I mean, last week at Austin, Yeppe hit the post twice off a corner kick. Like the way they're setting up their set pieces is really incredible, and I think it's catching teams off guard. Chris McVeigh is offside and he gets back right on time on the line to get that header. It was perfectly placed, like nothing LAFC could do. And again, LAFC 32-52 started being loud, and we're like, oh boy, here it comes. Crowd goes in, they start booing, they back up Frontera San Diego, and then this goal comes in at the perfect time, and it kind of stunts the 32-52 a little bit.
Yeah, it was a fantastic set piece again. Just McVeigh being able to get there. Poor marking by LAFC, where maybe you could have gotten a body in front. That's what you need to do as a defender. That's what you're coached by. If you're a defender, you always have to stay in front of the attacker and never just let them dictate what they're going to do. Because as soon as they trap the ball, they'll have the option to hold it in front. You have to foul them to get around them, or they're just going to go ahead and pass it back, and the play starts, and you're left behind. You always have to be in front of your defender. So that does not happening in this moment. Chris McVeigh going up and using that height advantage. And again, it's a very tall team that SDFC has in a lot of different ways, right? So here you have.
Hey, you were standing right behind that, pretty much, right?
Yeah, it looked like a great goal, obviously. And then Chris McVeigh is just so tall. Also, Oni Valakari is tall too. So you just have
6'2".
Yeah, two very dangerous vertical threats that that the team has to respect and cover. And it is poor marking, but at the same time, all of their numbers are right there. Luca de la Torre completely alone on this other side. If that ball deflects or something happens, he's right there on that post to like be wide open to just tap it in. So just
tap it in.
Yeah, overall set pieces I don't think are going to be a problem. And if things like this can keep happening, and then you have Anders Dreyer, and then even once Chucky Lozano gets back in and he can take those shots, he took like a pretty good free kick at the end of the game too. And with those options, it's going to be hard for other teams to stop.
Yeah, left Lloris like a statue, absolutely, just nothing for him to do. It's a great header, not even just getting it unmarked and just getting in the air, just locating that. I was talking with Craig actually during the Soccer's broadcast, and somebody did a header or something, and then it's just second nature just seeing it and just knowing and playing soccer. And he's like, I don't know how people may do a header without being concussed. And I'm like, whoa, it's just easy. You just hit it with the front. Yeah. But it's like, no. Even then, I still don't know how you would direct it, and just thinking about like how we sometimes take things for granted.
Yeah.
Again, I was asked twice today what an offsides was. Again, there's a big big need for people to kind of have the game explained in different ways.
I need to find the video, and I'm gonna try to find it. There was this TikTok or an Instagram of a guy explaining his girlfriend an offsides based on terms that would make her understand, and it's such a great explanation. Like, I'll try to find it. See by the time, like, if I'm able to find that, we'll show it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know somebody last week's video commented actually that they're enjoying just like the little explanations of like soccer 101, like explaining how it's not easier to have a free kick if it's as close as can be to the goal, because you need that little bit of space, because you need the ball to go up and then down or curl around. If you're too close to it, you don't have that distance to have the ball do the effect. Just weird little things like that. So if you're ever wondering, like, please, like, let us know and we can help out with those just filling in the blanks. We want everybody to have fun, as much fun as we have watching the game.
Oh, I found the video.
You found the video. You can go ahead and toss it up here if you'd like. If not, go back to some of the highlights here. But again, a great first goal for SDFC as they move in and honestly just kind of surprised a lot of people right there, because everybody's expecting LAFC to come guns a-blazing. There was Bouanga coming back, some returning players. Was this going to be a full strength LAFC as you're talking about? And I talked with a lot of LAFC people, and they're like, "Yeah, no, this is a full strength as it's going to be going into the Champions League in the midweek." But yeah, a great look and a great effort here. The game continues, and San Diego FC did not let up. They continued on the offensive side, and as you mentioned, Chiva, Alex Mighton on the left wing just was a problem.
Dude, but this pass from Dreyer too. I mean, I think Dreyer's best skill set is the passing. Yeah, like it's just his vision, his passing, like it's phenomenal. Like this guy's overall great. I think his finishing could improve a little bit. We saw that against Austin, but this dude's everywhere. He can play kind of like the 10. Look where he's at. He's your right winger. Like it not gonna say like, oh, it's kind of like how Messi likes to play, but in a weird way, it's still like he has that vision, he has that pass, and I think it catches a lot of teams off guard.
We mentioned the one pass, right? But there's so many little building blocks even before that this is chemistry. This is why it's so impressive what San Diego FC is doing. These guys have known each other for 2.5 months, yet they know exactly what they need to do. This ball starts here, coming out from the back. Boloy passes it. Immediate one touch. I know you're there. Immediate turn.
One.
I know you're going to run that way. That right there, that you can't train for that. I mean, you can, but it's just instinctually knowing where you're supposed to be. That moment right there, if you want to talk about these moments here and the chances that they're creating, it's the moments like this. Uno, dos, look up. I know where he's going because my guy on the other side of the field is already making a run. Those
and he's fast as fuck.
Those small passes right there is what lets the team just have the confidence in each other. I'm just passing it because I know there's somebody already making that run. There should be somebody making that run. Alex Mighton is making that run because Honors Dryers would make that run if he was on that side, the left side. So it's just having a incredible IQ and awareness. And yeah, that right to dream style to play out the middle like that so quick.
Dude, he almost curled this. It just didn't curl.
Like, almost.
Like the vision was there, and I appreciate the effort and trying to take that shot. Like, obviously it didn't work out, but I mean, sometimes people are like, "Oh, why didn't he pass it to Luca? Balakari was making the run in." No, dude,
you need to know if it's your night.
Yeah, you have to take the shot 110 out of 10 times there, especially if you're that type of player that you want to score goals. Like, you have to take that shot. That shot goes in, goal of the week.
Yeah,
like 100%. You have to try that.
And then time a little bit later, second minute. Yeah.
Goalkeeper error.
No, sorry.
We talked about this one.
We
yeah, still Valakari, right place, right time. You need that from your 9. We didn't see that enough, I think, from Marcus Ingvartsen. And yeah, I think Ingvartsen really got volley pipped here, honestly.
I have a question for you guys. Amongst San Diego FC players, where do you rank Valakari right now? After 6 games, like say number 1, number 2, number 3, where do you rank Valakari right now?
He's number 2.
Number two.
Behind Dreyer. Production-wise, statistically-wise, the way he has impacted the game in the Seattle game, in the Utah game. He came on. He looked a little shaky, but he kind of figured himself out. He was very crucial in the build-out of the eventual game winner. Valakari also scored the first goal ever for San Diego FC at home in that tie. He's been involved in 4 goals, I believe, so far. Dreyer has slowed down a little bit if Dreyer's your number 1, because outside of that, I mean...
Yeah, I'm always of the opinion where we kind of overrate the goal scorers and people involved in scoring plays, and players like Anibal Godoy, Yepes Verskov in the midfield. Luca Del Torre, too, has kind of been unsung. He's played really well. Like, obviously, he's kind of more of an attacking midfielder, so you want him to be more involved in scoring plays, but that midfield has been just the perfect metronome for this offense, moving things around, making things look nice, look pretty. And I honestly think the player I've been most surprised by is CJ Los Santos. I thought coming into the season he would look kind of overmatched. He didn't look great in those Coachella games. He looked like really young and like kind of scared to be yelling at the defense, but he's been playing well. He has had a lot of saves. He had like a really good save this past weekend, and I think if CJ Dos Santos can keep playing at a level where he, at the very least, is comfortable in that goalkeeper position, he's only going to get better.
And actually, I kind of teased that to him. Like I poked him a little bit at training. Did you ask him first? Is this your question about the
I
back
think
line?
so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Back to back line. Yeah. Here we go. Because I'm like, hey, there's you've obviously impacted this team in a huge way, and could you have a chip on your shoulder? Is you hear this chatter about, hey, maybe he's never played in the starting spot? Is he just a second tier player in MLS? And some of the audio that he said at the media
It
availability.
was Brandon.
Huh?
It was Brandon that had like that's really
Oh, we're coming back to it.
To prove that yes, you would deserve to be the. Been like this season in discovering this new gear for Dos Santos, and what have you been enjoying about your play this season?
I've been enjoying competing every week. You know, I've worked really hard to get this opportunity, and I've said in the past I'm really grateful for the organization, for the club to give me this opportunity. No matter at what point I am in my career, I feel like I always have something to prove. Whether it be on a second team in my academy days, I always want to go out and compete my absolute best, and to show everyone what I'm capable of.
And that's what you're seeing week in, week out by Dos Santos is really just shutting up mouths. Shutting mouths up.
Yeah, he's playing great. At having that great back line helps out for sure. Having Patty McNair back helps out for sure. But I will say the player I'm the most impressed with, and everyone calls it out already, and they agree, it's Godoy. Panamanian captain. This guy came in. You didn't think he'd be a starter. You didn't think he'd be like one of the go-to midfielders in this team, but this guy's a warrior day in, day out. He's just phenomenal. I mean, along with Yepe, like the captain, he's that quiet midfielder that he's just balling out. And then
and like thinking back to who the first signings were for this team, it was Yepe and Marcus at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And I was honestly of the opinion that I thought Marcus was going to be a much more important player,
Me too.
much like more impactful. But like you cannot have this midfield without Yepe Fresco.
I know 100%. So I mean, he's the captain, he's the heart and soul. But I mean, I almost want to agree with Tony putting Valakari second, based on the stats, based on the impact he's made. But I think I still rank him maybe like fourth, fifth. I think the team can still play very well without him in the starting lineup. I think there's players that can definitely play a lot better and step up, but I think he's just having a hot start, and he's earned a starting spot so far. And then if you're playing at a good to elite level, you're going to start. And I think he's at that level right now, and I think he continues to get the start until he kind of starts declining a bit. He's not getting on the score sheet, getting those assists, and maybe they bring a new player to play up front. So it's just going to be Valakari's show right now at the 9.
Yeah, Juan Garcia here, absolutely correct. Godoy is getting his citizenship, gets an extra international roster spot. So Godoy helping out the team on and off the field. Let it rip, bro. It's okay.
I don't want to. I'm not gonna burp into the microphone.
Just give
for
me
the
a
people.
just give me that. Just mute it, then you can burp. We'll get us. But yeah, that's a great player.
Yeah, I have one. I should bring it.
What?
I can connect the thing, and if I just press it, it mutes it briefly. But my burps, they might be loud enough that you'll hear them on your guys.
These are just good mics. No.
That's what this thing's there for.
Godoy sets the tone in the middle. Yepes sets the play. Luca seems a little bit lost at times, but he started to get into the groove with Maiton. Yeah, I mean, again, this isn't the best that we've seen San Diego FC, because this is good. A team has time to develop. A team needs to be their best at the end of the season once they grow and get their style under the belts, once they get some more games in and confidence. You don't want to have the same player be reliant on, like, if this has been Honor Dryer's show this entire time, Balakari doesn't score, nobody else is scoring, it's been Dryer, and you rely on that like you did in Austin, you're not going to go ahead and get the results that you want. But I do like that more players are getting involved here. Can you just imagine, right? Just imagine this. A team where both Honors Dryer is 100% going. Chucky is 100% going.
Hmm.
Invarsten comes back 100% going. Balakari, you find a spot with him in the midfield and he kind of floats in there. Sure, like let him do that. Or you eventually just switch Balakari with Invarsen when he's going. If they are all playing at the same similar level at the same time, this is potentially it's the beginning of how good San Diego FC can be. And it's opening eyes across the league. And we'll talk here in a bit with our pal Shayan from the RGTV podcast up in Seattle. Our pal who does cover and does a lot of Seattle Sounders.
Good guy.
Yeah, no activity up there. Great guy. We'll get
Does
into it in a
great
bit.
coverage to like highlight Iranian international players.
I cut it out and I'll upload the full version of it. But at the end, he told me he's like, yeah, no, I actually went to an event last year and I met Omar Bravo and I met so and so. And he's like, I had no idea Omar Bravo scored on Iran until I talked to him twice. Yeah, let alone twice. He said, he's like, yeah, 100%. And then I played it for him.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I'm like,
Bravo, crack the
Don't
cracks.
you forget. We're coming for you, Iran.
Yeah. So I mean, then the goal of the week comes from LAFC.
Yeah.
And it's a bucket of cold water. Like it shook the team. They're like, damn, we're just up 3-0 and this happens. And then 2 minutes later, you kind of felt it. Boom. 3-2. And that's how you go at half. And that Tony, we had that conversation, right? Right at half. Okay, this is where we see what Mikey Varas is made out of.
Yeah.
Go into halftime,
skin and bones.
Bring your team back and say, hey, guys, we're up 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get in your heads. This is where good coaching comes in. San Diego FC comes off in the second half, playing good again. Like, Balakari almost gets a goal. Like, it's going back and forth. You get this play right here, right, where it's a great save from Yoris. Like, Balakari makes a great. That's a great pass.
Fantastic cutback. Great pass.
Great, even better save.
Look at this. Look at this right here. Just,
you know, like this is where Balakari, he's not a natural 9.
Mm-hmm.
Like a poacher, Invarsen maybe scores this because he's a 9. He's not, don't give me that face.
Dude, that was an amazing save.
No,
I don't know who scores that. Like he even like the fact that Yoris like not only that he like stops it, but that he like jumps on it too. Because usually you see a ball like this, it gets deflected, corner kick. But like to jump on that's great.
It's a great save. But again, like this is where Valakari is gonna have to work on if he's gonna be transitioning into that 9 role, where his finishing is gonna have to kind of get polished up. This is expected. He's a midfielder. Like you signed him to be a center attacking midfielder, and now you're playing him at the 9. Then this foul happens on Godoy. Yellow card, double yellow card, red card. Bye-bye. Igor Jesus, he was already in a yellow card. And this is where the kind of conversation comes in, right? Where is this enough for a second yellow card? Obviously, this foul alone is a yellow card.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is the conversation in soccer is always like, okay, well, the second yellow card needs to be maybe a little rougher or anything like that. I don't know where you guys stand on that.
No, it doesn't.
Okay,
yellow card's a yellow card.
Yellow card's a yellow card. It's the second one. Red card completely changes the game now, at least for LAFC. So you would think. Where San Diego FC is going to be able to kind of comfortably take the lead. They're going to score more goals. It's 11 versus 10. It didn't seem like that for the second half.
No, I honestly forgot that they were playing with 10 players. Like, and as far as a yellow card, yes, I think it is a yellow card. You're taking him out. You don't really leave him a space to shoot. There was a kind of a moment like this too in the Wave game where people were complaining about a penalty call, but. Look, there's Brandon. I was telling you. Look, he's in the background.
There's Brandon.
Yeah, shout out Brandon.
Hey, Brandon, you were right there, dude. Like,
yeah, Brandon, tell us, what do you think? Was that a yellow card?
Yeah, you were there. You heard it.
No, I mean, it's a clear yellow card. And again, like, it's like, oh, wait, this guy already had a yellow card in the first half. The ref came out hot giving yellow cards in the first half, by the way. Like, she did, and she did a great job. But he's like, yo, I'm right there. Yellow all day, 100%. Red card for LAFC. Is back-to-back games where the opposing team gets a red card against San Diego FC.
Brandon, back up your guy. He's just watching. Hey, yell at him. Come on, dude.
No reaction.
No reaction. Oh, come on, man. Back up your boy Godoy. Go. Where was Esteban? Okay.
He was making the console. Should I eat the nachos first or the hot dog?
I imagine like Esteban sitting next to like Mikey Varas with the iPad and like doing the thing where he's like showing him the You've seen those videos, right? Of the when like the goal scorer, like however the people celebrate, the coaches, like some coaches go crazy. I feel like Mikey Vada is the one that gives the fist bump, then immediately goes back and is like looking at the
Que se está
instructions.
meando y dice, ay, va a ganar mi equipo.
No, it's true. He actually is a freak with the replays and the stats and the tablets. Like he's first thing he does when on the plane, for last thing he's doing, the first thing he's doing after he gets off the plane is watching film, and he's a man of the film.
That guy takes no days off.
No days off.
No days off.
Those are expensive tickets. Hey, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Just chilling, bro.
Chilling with Manny
Just
Machado.
chilling, Manny Machado. My bad. He said, my bad. But yeah, Manny Machado and company, and Steroids McGee over in Jerickson Profar.
What are we doing there?
What are we doing?
He had ringworm. Come on.
Okay. Jeez. Okay. Good old ringworm in baseball. LAFC.
Martinez had that SDFC backline on their toes.
Yeah.
19-year-old is having a fantastic season so far for LAFC. This dude is good. Like, there's just no way of putting it. This is a great save from CJ, but this guy was beating the whole backline. This kid is legit. I can see this kid going to Europe eventually. I think he's that good, but somehow SDFC survived. I think LAFC deserved the tie. The way they were playing with 10 men, I think they deserved the tie. And sometimes soccer is unfair. I mean, you see a highlight here from Martinez again, just running past defenders. But somehow San Diego FC survived. And the second half, we asked Mikey Vadas, right? Like, hey, like, were you happy with the performance in the second half? And he was very honest that, I mean, we're happy we won, but yeah, that second half, we should have probably played a lot better with an extra man.
Yeah.
Like you said, Chucky should have scored this goal that he had against Yoris on a 1-on-1. I don't think he was offsides. Maybe. Tírale, way. Like, what are you doing? But I don't know, man. I don't know what you guys thought of that second half. Like, I
like the substitute. We knew exactly what was going to happen with Chucky Lozano. Everyone was waiting for it. Once the fans saw him warming up, it was starting to get a little bit louder. They were doing the song and all that. And like when he did come on, he was pretty effective as far as just waiting on that left wing and being an issue. I think that's kind of something we forgot in that first LA Galaxy game. He was probably got most of the attention and left Anders Dreyer open on the other side. This time around, they knew that they had to put attention towards Anders Dreyer, so Chucky was a little bit more open. And like when he had those chances, he wasn't able to make them. But I think that just comes with time. That's a little bit of rust. Once he comes around, he'll be able to make those.
Yeah, he's a little anxious to score. He wants to represent. He wants to make sure that he pays his due. The people of San Diego who've embraced him and really welcomed him. He hasn't scored a goal yet.
He was even like going pretty mad at the referee. He could have gotten he was going crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know about what you guys thought about that.
Yeah, no, it could have warranted a yellow card.
He got one yellow card.
He got a yellow card
but,
at the 96 minute.
Like, I don't know if it's hard to get like 2 yellow cards for dissension, but he was definitely
on the path.
Giving the rest.
Tiro, vato. Oh my gosh. There's a replay of it right behind. Like, it just curves out and
hits the post.
Yeah, like Lo Rosso, vato. Like, this shot was scary. Like, I feel like this would have been goal of the week. If that goes in, it's a tying goal. Like, vato. Oh my.
This one right here.
Ahí va dentro, va dentro, va dentro. Ay. Man. Hey, were you behind that?
No, I switched sides for the second half.
And and here's the difference between this. This is an issue. And I asked Mikey Vadas at the end, right? And he knows it. He kind of he didn't brush it off. He took it with the seriousness that it needed to. But it's like, what am we supposed to do? Like, he knows it's an issue. They have to work on it. They're not doing well when they're a man up. That's twice at home where there's a red card and you don't neutralize the game. You don't end it when it should. You take a little bit too long and really start to be intricate with your passing inside. No, this is when you start long passing back, open up that field, make LAFC run, tire them out, cat and mouse, really play the possession game. That's what you've been playing most of the time. Just be smart about what you're doing. And in doing that, also be quick to strike. Like, literally just do what you've been doing and do it well, because LAFC didn't necessarily do anything differently. They were doing the same thing the entire game with or without a red card. They were going after it. That's the difference between Columbus and LAFC. Columbus sat back after the red card, and it was difficult to score. I'll give you that. But LAFC did the opposite of that.
Well, they needed the point,
and
too,
they needed the point, but they opened themselves up and were much more on the attacking side. Defending was almost taking care of itself because SDFC just couldn't score, and that's the issue right there, right? Like, yeah, they won, fantastic. If there's a mark for constructive criticism, it's that. Do better when you have an extra dude on the field, like that, like have more chances that equate to goal, at least one, and then you can neutralize the game, and then you can have yourself that little breathing room because it was a long time. There was no scoring in the second half. It was 3-2. It was a long time where LAFC could have come back and really done some damage, but I think SDFC got lucky on that front. Again, thank you again for contributing to your listen to Balls at Mike 270 here live. Let us know what you think.
Make sure you like, share, subscribe.
All that good stuff.
Follow us on all socials.
Yeah, he wants to go really bad, Chucky Lozano.
He does. I think it'll come eventually, maybe next weekend when he gets a little bit more minutes. Yeah, I mean, overall, obviously, Tony, you just explained like how they're having a tough time, but how are you feeling about where they're at currently in the season? They're sitting in third place in the Western Conference. They're tied for most goals in the Western Conference with 10 goals, along with Vancouver, who's first place. I said this before the season started. San Diego FC were either going to be a really good team where they are top 3. Obviously, it's still early on, but it's either going to be really good or really bad. So far, it's really good.
Yeah, it's been as good as it can be, right? You go down a striker with Marcus and Varson. You have to put some pieces together because of international duty with Patty McNair and Anibal Godoy. You have some inexperience with some kiddos that are coming in, literal children that are being put into the starting lineup, and they're rising up to the occasion. Yeah, I would expect them to have a tough time against a dude like Brandon Vasquez. I would expect that. But they held their own. Like, they figured it out and they adjusted. And yeah, they didn't take the points away, but that's a confidence booster. So in the long run, that's a net positive of game. And that's the only team that's really above you that you've already faced in Austin, Texas, right there. But it's as good as it can be for San Diego FC in terms of play. You can ask a little bit more. Yeah, let's score more when there's, when you're a man up. Let's do that. But outside of that, like, I can't think of anything else that they could possibly do.
I think they're exceeding expectations so far.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair. The only question and issue is like your style and your identity is so out there and so pronounced to the entire league, especially because you're a new team, that a lot of like teams are going to they have this scouted. They're going to think about what to do. And I think eventually, as the season can go on, there might be some issues where the other team knows exactly how they're going to be playing. They want that possession style. If other teams can like disrupt that, then that might become an issue later on. But so far right now, I think there's no question that they're going to make the playoffs.
Here's the thing, though. I think a lot of teams in MLS are so kind of like ingrained on playing with their style that I don't know if they'll be able to kind of change up to play against this right to dream style. I think it's very unique. We saw it with Columbus, right? They kind of play the similar style, but I think this is very hard to defend against. And I think it's hard to prepare, especially when Mikey Varas keeps switching the lineups every game. You may think, okay, well, they start Franco Negri. He's a little bit slower and and then he hits you with Luca Bombino, where he's faster. Like, you have to prepare for maybe 3 possible lineups against San Diego FC now, where you may get Chucky, you may get Mine, you may get Valakari on the wing. Then that changes up because who's going to be playing up top where we thought he was going to be, and maybe they bring another player, and maybe Anders Dreyer plays at the 10 one day. Like, the possibilities are endless with this lineup and with how Mikey Varas is kind of shaping things, and it goes to training. Like, Mikey Varas keeps telling us that they're focused on training. They don't care who they're playing. They're focused on themselves, and it's such a boring answer to hear, but it's working.
Yeah, right here, Soccer 96. Our team has been very good early in the season. We're improving every week. Yeah, they're getting better and better, but so are the other teams. So are the opposition and finding themselves. Jeff says exceeding expectations. LAFC and LA Galaxy were half standing.
The LAFC was first place. Galaxy was second place, I think. Or no, it was swap. Galaxy was first place.
Yeah, and Columbus was up there too. So yeah, they've played some really good teams. Marcus having a hard time adjusting to being the line and having to pass the ball back to Chucky and Dreyer. he might need direct passes. Well, we won't know what he needs because again, he is out for an indefinite amount of time, officially a long time. But help is on the way. Help is on the way, and there will be news coming down in terms of San Diego FC coming in the coming days. So stay tuned with that. We'll have those exclusives as soon as we are able to. So good stuff from San Diego FC. Let's hear some post match. No, it's not. It's not Mueller. Absolutely, you're right, Jeff. But
It's Kevin De Bruyne.
oh my gosh!
Way.
Oh my gosh!
Imagine no.
Someone's gonna clip that and just be like, "Oh, per San Diego
joking.
football."
No.
No, it's all good.
That's not gonna happen. I will go on. I will say I do not believe that happened.
I've been told nobody ever asks us about anything in soccer. Oh, nobody talks to us about. Oh, how much time are these people out? How much? Nobody cares. Apparently, it's okay. I know these another. According to yeah, can't afford to. But yeah. So with that, let's hear from head coach Mikey Varas post match. Yes, I think that's a segment too at the end of the game, at the end of the pod. Just why were we late today? Edition.
Oh, show people the video that you were watching.
Absolutely. But we'll hear from Gaffer for San Diego FC, Señor Mikey Varas.
In the first half, obviously, everything seemed to be going right. What can you tell us about what that conversation was and those adjustments and what made it successful 3-0, but then what the conversation was going into halftime at 3-2?
I think we play against a top team with top players. These things can happen. The first 38, 40 minutes of that half were unbelievable. I hope everybody takes notice in San Diego of the effort of the guys, the quality of the guys. I thought they were just absolutely lights out. I had goosebumps during that moment. And then, yeah, we got a little bit, I don't know what happened. They started pressing us a little bit. We made an error. We lost our composure for a few minutes. But halftime came at a good moment to cut that momentum. And we got out of it.
We'll go up here again, right here with the bosses. Daniel.
Noches, Mikey, siempre habías dicho que quería ganar la afición, el primer triunfo finalmente será en casa. Las sensaciones al respecto.
Hey, Mikey, you've always said that you wanted to give your home fans a good sending off here at home. What does it feel to finally deliver? I've always said that put the soccer is for the people, by the people, and our fan base is the best. And that was absolutely spectacular. Like a coliseum out there. Just filled with people with passion and energy. It's not just the Frontera, but the entire stadium started singing. We have the best fanatics in all of the Americas. I got this cool little present by Bruno.
We don't talk about.
People love soccer here and they love the region. And we have the responsibility to give you fun and
Are you happy
enjoyment.
with how your team managed the game, especially after the red card, and how they just kind of managed to finish out the game?
I think we'll all say that we could probably manage it a little bit better. We could kill them with even more passes. We wanted, this is what I give them credit. I talked to them about if we have 3-2, we want 4-2. We want always more. And that's something that we talk about all the time. So I give the guys credit. Now, how we find them more, probably we can work on a little bit, maybe making some extra passes, maybe attacking a little bit more on the sides versus trying to push the ball in the middle when you have the extra man. But overall, the most important thing is a regional rivalry game against a very, very talented team, and we brought our fans a win. And I think that's the most important message here, that these guys fought and left everything on the field for people.
Like, I mean, like we saw the comment, like for real, Mikey's a boring interview. Like he talks soccer, and again, he said it before. I'll bore you guys with just my answers, and it's fine. We love it.
Yeah.
Because we understand it, and I mean, You saw Javier Mascherano's post-match conference. Somebody asked them. That should have been a gaffe, by the way. Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
This is the questions we need answered, though, Chiva. Like someone's got to ask at this press conference, right?
Man,
What is your answer to that question? Come on, you got to answer it.
Kobe.
LeBron or Michael? Kobe. Really?
Kobe all day.
Don't like too much basket. So I will not.
Michael Jordan, LeBron James.
I don't like too much basket. So I will not be there.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
That was the last question, man. That's, we think sometimes it's like bad down here, but it's like that everywhere in the U.S. apparently. So
apparently, the effort this guy gets out of his team is amazing. Whatever he's doing to motivate them and push them is commendable. The team seems to be behind him and his style 100%. Yeah, there's the buy-in. I agree. Messi or Ronaldo asked Mikey Abe.
We all know the answers, Messi. There's no need to ask.
No one needs to not ask. Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. All right. All right, guys. All right, tranquilos. Me too, not too much basket.
Not too much.
No me gusta basket.
You guys got to ask some players what this guy is really like in the locker room and what he's doing to motivate them. Okay, on it. Yes, sir.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeremy. Question. Thank you. That's literally, this is why this is the people's pod.
I will say in this post-match, Mikey Varas did say that this club is going to be a giant in 50 years. Like he said, not only in MLS, in all of the Americas. Like he's pretty much saying that this team is going to dominate, like whether it's the CONCACAF Champions Cup, whether it's making a Club World Cup, maybe whatever it is. But he's pretty much saying like this club is going to be a giant in America. And not just the US, like all of America. Like they're going to dominate all of CONCACAF. And if in the future CONCACAF is invited back to Copa Libertadores, like why not, right? Compete there. But I miss those days. I miss those days when CONCACAF teams were invited to Copa America, not Copa Libertadores.
Yeah,
like
wild
you had
times.
Chivas getting to a
Against
final,
Boca Junior.
and El Bofo throwing up the 4.
Good times. To be asked Ronaldo if he wants to join our team. Are we signing Jorge Campos since he was there? Yeah, Campos was there. He actually followed us.
Yeah, he did on Twitter.
Yeah,
on X.
Neat. 50 years seemed like a long time. It does seem like a long time. Hopefully, we're all here. When you come from Vargas, arguing with the press like Mourinho, I'd welcome that.
That'd be fun.
I'd welcome that.
And Tony almost did that.
She did do that.
Yeah,
that was the last press conference she did. She argued with Tony because Tony asked a dumb question.
That was not a dumb question.
No, you didn't ask a question. That was the issue. You were like, so the game,
blah blah blah.
Yeah, and Jill Ellis was like,
32 game.
I don't like the way she talked to Tony.
Jesus.
This was Tony Asser.
That's my headcanon.
No, it was blah, 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 blah. He waffled on for so long. She was like, is there a question? And then I think Megan hopped in was like, thoughts on the game.
So is there a question?
No, I think she was just like, what was your overall thoughts on the performance? Because you asked like a 30-second question.
I set up the question, and guess what? That ended up being the final game, and literally like, again, somebody must have seen that and was like, nope, don't like that answer. No, sorry, Bob, not to my Tony.
Let's hear from Alex Mighton.
Congratulations on the first home win here in history, and then your start. Can you just take us through the emotions of today and a hard-fought win, taking the opportunities, obviously, with the start of the trust from Mikey Varas?
Yeah, no, I just want to thank God first and foremost, for giving me the opportunity. I've had to stay patient, whilst I've come here, but surrounded by a great group of players, a great coach. I'm just happy that I was able to get an opportunity today and take it, but most importantly, the team got the win. So, yeah.
We'll go back there.
First 40 minutes or so, everything went right. Can you guys take us through just what was going on the pitch and just how good that felt? Is that the best you guys have played all year for a stretch?
Yeah, that's just us, and the challenge for us now is how can we replicate that 40 minutes for 90 minutes? We're more than capable. We've got amazing players, amazing style of play. We just need to, be relentless in those moments and not switch off. Always be focused and hopefully, we can get more results.
How does the crowd help you guys stay in games against tough teams in California?
Yeah, massively. Ever since I've come here, before the football even started, the hype around the team and the city is what we've really needed, and it's what's got us over the line today. I'm just super happy that we've got amazing supporters, that are there for us every single game. We just want to give back to them, and thankfully today we were able to do that.
And did that. They did. Alex Martin getting on the score sheet and really being an impact player this time around. Some good stuff from that. Again, you can always find full press conferences of everything San Diego Soccer at San Diego.futbol's website, on the YouTube channel, on all of our social medias. Go ahead and do that. Yeah, miss the dreads. I mean, he's lighter. He's quicker. Something's working, and the fans really came out for San Diego FC and LAFC also. But this is what we did, right? Like, there was a video that came out after that was posted by Chiva over here, and I'm like, yeah, that's a good video. Why not? Because pre-match we went over and we had a little microphone and a microphone that wasn't connected actually, and we put it in front of people. We had a whiteboard, said 2 sides. Your thoughts on San Diego? Your thoughts on LA? Answer the prompt. People took it in their own direction. People said some things. We have some as more SD fans just kind of chime in on that. We have some here. Where'd it go?
No? All right. Where do I start?
Whenever you want.
All right. My thoughts on SD.
Pero con huevo que se oiga, güey.
My thoughts on SD, the city I'm born and raised, the city that molded me, the city that made me the father, the son, and the man I am right now, and the best city in the world, baby. Let's go.
Love that.
San Diego, this is our home. This is our pride. This is where we are going to kick LA's ass.
Picaña on point de nuestros hermanos, the brasileiros. Fantastic meat. Great meat by the Brazilians.
Yeah, that show was good.
Season's greetings to the boys. Hey Tanya, how are you? You're right on time. We're gonna start changing gears soon here. But yeah, with that, it did end up happening that we had that sign. Hey, tell us about SD. Tell us LA. Obviously, a lot of this LA from San Diego FC fans, and then the LA fans were corralled up going into the stadium, and we had an interaction with them, and same thing, same prompt essentially, right? Nothing too much. Actually, Ricardo Campos found us right there, and he was like, "Guys, you're talking to the wrong supporter groups." I'm like, "No. We're being fair. We're being down the line, just being fair across the board." And we put up the little board and wanted to speak to some LAFC fans, the hardcore
3252 fans.
3252, like these guys are the hardcore fans of LAFC. These are the same people that were pouring beers from the top down after the loss. These are the same fans that really came out guns a-blazing, like they were loud at the beginning. And so one of the fans that we kindly gave us his words was this gentleman, and he had some choice words on his thoughts of San Diego.
Fuck San Diego FC. Talking about FC. Fuck SD. Fuck Suki. Fuck them. LA, baby. All the way. Fuck.
Well, clearly a very irresponsible bunch with a child crying in the background. Let's get that taken care of. Safety first, right?
Happens everywhere. Children are always
first. Didn't get the name of the guy. Was arguing, and here's where we were fair. We didn't like bait this guy into it, right? We were absolutely fair. I told him after he said this, I'm like, guess what? You're the only one that feels this way. Those were my words to it. There's nobody behind you that will have any words or feel that same way, or else they can come up and speak about it. Not a single person in that group
wanted to be on camera.
wanted to say anything. They you know what they came after us? Oh, it's because the Padres and the Dodgers.
Dude, I had this guy off camera, like just telling me, like, because you guys know me, I'm not a big baseball fan, and this guy was like, "Oh, but the Dodgers." And I was like, "Dude, I'm from LA. I was born there. Like, what are you lecturing?" I told him, "Well, Petco Park is the best ballpark in America. Like, it was ranked that like a couple seasons ago,
Agreed.
right?" And,
Yeah.
And I told him, "I've been to both. Like, I've had more fun at Petco Park.
But the
well,
history.
this and this." And I was like, dude, okay,
there's
like
history. There's Wrigley Field.
arm
there's
around my
Fenway-
shoulder and everything. I was like,
Fenway
"Dude,
Park.
don't touch me."
All right.
I honestly, hot take, Dodger Stadium, second favorite ballpark in the U.S. for me.
I just told him
I've been to
there.
a few of the historic ones. Still, my favorite's gonna be Petco, but that's personal. I'm born and raised,
Okay.
gone to Petco a lot.
That's fine.
I've been to Wrigley before. Wrigley's really cool, gets a lot of credit, should get a lot of credit. They grow real ivy. That's kind of crazy. Fenway is pretty cool too. That's wild that they have like a whole wall, but Dodger Stadium.
Este güey ya estaba bien pedo.
There's like an aura about Dodger Stadium with the palm trees, with the like you feel the Hollywoodness in
The
Dodger
ghost
Stadium
of
for me.
Vin Scully.
The
Yeah.
ghosts of Vin Scully and the people that got kicked out. Like Dodger Stadium's cool.
What do you guys think of the game day patches and scarves for game days? What do you mean?
I don't know. There's different games.
This was
they sell
supporters.
different scarves.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Not too sure about that. LA fans always talking their Dodgers football is not their priority. Yeah, that can definitely be it.
But I mean, that's everywhere though. Like, football's not the priority anywhere. Like, football's not the priority here in San Diego right now. It's always going to be the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just everywhere. And I mean, soccer's growing and it's getting there, but that's San Diego FC is definitely up there. They're proving people wrong, and they play again this Saturday here in San Diego against the Seattle Sounders. Back-to-back home games. Abe, you'll be there. I won't be there. It's my birthday, and I'm gonna be doing birthday celebrations. Tony, you won't be there. You'll be at Front Wave Arena commentating on MASL playoffs all weekend.
Yeah, come and check out the MASL playoffs at Front Wave Arena. The San Diego Sockers do battle along with 8 other teams in the MASL playoffs. The top 8 teams of the entire league coming to one place, the brand new, beautiful Front Wave Arena in Oceanside, California. Get your tickets now at frontwavearena.com.
That's cool. I'm just imagining them all playing at once because the way you described it,
they're all playing at once.
Like it's all free for all. Just not even Royal Rumble style, just like all at once.
8 goals.
8 goals.
Yeah.
What was that? We had the guy on that
Omega Ball.
Omega Ball. It's basically the same thing. Indoor Omega Ball. When's that coming?
I love that. Just like 3D, like
something's
up there.
Do we want to do match predictions for this match against Seattle real quick?
Okay. Do we want to go Cheyenne before first? Because that gives a preview on what that'll actually give you guys a better idea.
I already wrote my prediction. I don't care what Cheyenne has to say. Well, I'll hear him out.
Oh my
It's not going to change my
gosh.
prediction. It's not going to change my prediction.
Comment.
I think I know my prediction.
Okay. Go. What's your prediction, Mr. I already have my prediction.
2-0 San Diego.
Okay.
2-1 San Diego.
Oof. I'll say a 3-1 San Diego.
Okay. We're all picking the same result.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. It's just a matter of them getting a 1-0 victory. Watch. Eking it out. Brandon agrees with me. 3-1. W. Commemorative scarves, everyone for each match. I've seen some of the cartoon ones. They're actually pretty dope. Good idea. 2-0 clean sheet here from SDFC. A third clean sheet for Dos Santos.
Yep,
wow.
that'd be
impressive. Do you want to go there then?
Yeah.
All right, cool. We're gonna go ahead and toss it over to our buddy and pal Cheyenne, who is part of the RGTV group in Seattle, Washington. We've known him for a couple of years. He was one of our first guests ever. Just like let me see if I can. Cheyenne. That's him. You remember what you looked like?
Hola, Cheyenne.
This. Yep.
Whoa.
That was me during the episodes.
That's mean. This is what the show used to be.
The garage looks brighter. Was this during the day or was it still at night?
This was during the day.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, people can't see, can they? No, they cannot. It's allow the people
There
to
you
see
go.
these monstrosities.
And it took forever, kind of like to get the medical staff in there.
This is not slowed down, by the way. This is not minus 5.5 velocity.
To get the player into the gurney. So
I'm like,
Vato,
dude,
estás
apúrate,
bien
güey.
chonchis.
Oh, me?
There's a lot of like things that MLS is still trying to figure out. But what are your expectations for the tournament as a whole?
I mean, this is like a big.
This is back in the day. So Chiva struggling to live.
That was 2 balls in the mic.
That was 2 balls. Literally same camera position. Like you see in the behind Chiva, it's that same little
bunch of stuff now on the.
Yep. Same place, same people, same pod. Predictions still coming in. 2-2 draw. Okay, Jeff, I want to see what you think after this. 3-0. Do we get a car wash? Soapy Joe is a sponsor, so maybe. All right, let's hear from Cheyenne here on a know your enemy sort of look ahead of what you're going to face for San Diego FC.
Honestly, I didn't have much of an opinion about San Diego, if I'm going to be honest. I looked at your. He's got Mr. Chucky Lozano. Very excited about it. It was funny because I introduced my girlfriend. She's Hispanic but doesn't watch the sport. And this is just such a small excerpt, total side note. And she wanted to have like a favorite player for Mexico. And so we were like running through them like Edson, Santi, X, Y, and Z. And she's like, she kind of liked all of them. And I was like, okay, I kept writing down. I was like, how about Chucky Lozano? Showing like old videos of him at PSV and whatnot. He's like, oh, this guy's pretty good. And he's like, where does he play now? I was like, San Diego. She doesn't know much about the sport, but she thought it was funny. It's like, oh, that means he's not good anymore then, huh? If he's coming to America. And I was like, okay, we'll move on from there. But you guys have looked so good. And when I looked at your team, I was like, with how weak the West was, I don't think you guys are going to be a last place team. Like, and also based on your rosters, like, there's no way this team just dead last. I just felt like it was a little bit of a lazy pick, but I didn't know where to place you guys. I didn't think you guys were going to be this good, but I didn't think you guys were going to be that bad like people touted you to be. So I didn't have an answer for you because I didn't do like a standings prediction or anything. But you guys have impressed me. I'll say that much.
Yeah, and I mean, it's shutting a lot of mouths up, right? And that's kind of how we're experiencing it here. We had questions. Who is Mikey Varas? Who is Yepes Sverskov? Who is, you start putting some names together too in Patty McNair, and you start putting Anders Dreyer. If you're paying attention to the European game, you're kind of tuned into the level of the Belgian league and Anderlecht and where he hailed from. But I mean, this is where it's another test then this weekend. It's been a test after test after test, and San Diego FC has been pretty much up to the task for it so far. And now they welcome another Western rival with Seattle Sounders coming into Snapdragon Stadium for the first time. So tell me, this season, the modern representation of the Sounders, is some of that legacy carrying out? Does that still carry a big name? What's going on in Seattle?
Yeah, I think Seattle hit the highs of the highs with winning the CCL back in, now it's called CCC, but CCL back in 2022. As you said, Seattle were even named by MLS the best team in the last decade, the 2010s. But I feel like many people have spoken about it. MLS moves, Eli Lesser. Seattle's almost stuck in the 2010s. You look at their team and you see some of the players and you're just like, this team hasn't really changed much. And I think it's really, really starting to catch up to this team. You saw it last year. They had a really poor start to the season. You're fast forwarding to this year. You're having a pretty bad start to the season as well. You have one win against LAFC, which you can consider that a little bit of like a bogey result. I wouldn't say complete bogey. It was just more like both teams were playing with a rotated lineup, very rotated lineup, and just Seattle's was the better one. And I would be, and I am a little bit, I won't be able to watch this game. I actually am going to Europe in the next days, so I'm probably not going to be able to watch this game. But originally when the schedule came out, I did want to go to this game because San Diego is my favorite city in California. Not to glaze because I'm on the show. I just have a lot of great memories from going there. But I won't be able to watch the game, but I would be scared for the Sounders going into this game because, in my opinion, you guys have, I feel like, been perfect. Like, I know you guys lost to Austin, and that's the one game I watched 2 of your guys' games very closely. The Galaxy game, so the very first one, and the game against Austin. Just based on time, that's when I was able to watch some games, and those were the games I was able to watch. Even the loss against Austin, I was kind of like, who cares? Based off of these other results you had, like, it was bound to happen. And it wasn't even that bad of a performance. Like, you guys were in that game for the most part, easily can end in a draw if Dreyer knew how to, weirdly just had an off game that day, missed 2 golden chances. But honestly, I think San Diego, for an expansion team, for their first 5 games of the season, looked perfect, as perfect as you can be for a team that's never played in the league. So it scares me for Seattle because you look at them and Seattle's just like what team are we going to see?
On the opposite trajectory. And that's where, again, San Diego FC has really shown. And that game that you mentioned against Austin, they threw out a couple teenagers. And in the rotation, there's 3 guys that have touched MLS time. They don't know this league. They don't know the travel. They're getting acclimated. Like, this is the first time Anders Dreyer goes from Utah to San Diego to Texas to San Diego. And it's just like, okay, well, that's new for a Danish guy and a couple of them here. But
that would have been like a Champions League campaign right there for him.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. And now and that's half the country, by the way. He's nowhere near the East Coast so far. So all right. So tell me about the lineup that Seattle's been busting out. What's been working? What needs to happen? Is this the game to have somebody unlock something? What's happening with Seattle?
Okay, well, if I'm going to keep it 100 with everybody, this is probably going to be our lineup this weekend. This is the Brian Schmetzer classic right here. He don't rotate. Unless he has to because of midweek games, this is going to be the lineup. I would be comfortable putting like a money line on something like this. Like, I don't bet, but I would put money on this, that this would be the lineup again. In regards to the bright sparks, Obed Vargas, he's been the bright spark. This is the only guy that gives me the will to live for most games. If he plays, I think he'll make a big difference. Not been a fan of Paul Rothrock at left wing back. Everyone praised our defense. Our defense this year, it's like mid. I think Yamar and Stephen Fry, by far our best players on the team, some of the most biggest unsung heroes on the team. Without them, I think our defense would be doo-doo. As I said, Obed Vargas, very strong. I think Chris Roldan is always Mr. Reliable. Rusnak, probably someone that shouldn't be a designated player in 2025 in MLS. Like, maybe, like, we spoke with Fabian Rankel, if you guys know him. He's like a San Jose fan, and we talked about Rusnak, and we asked him, we said, what MLS team would have Rusnak in this era as a designated player? He said, maybe one. And I was like, well, and we're maybe that one. So I'm not a big fan of how he's our highest paid player now. And then Ferreira, bro, I don't know. He has just not been fantastic. So I don't know. I just don't know who's going to score goals. And that's the same problem we had last year, and we didn't really address it. So I think pros is Vargas, Yamar, Fry. What worries me is, how are we going to score goals? Because I know you guys can score goals. You guys have so many different options. You guys got Lozano. You got Dreyer. Like, what are we looking at?
Some highlights of the San Jose game.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch the whole first half of it. I was touching grass a little bit, trying to enjoy my weekend. So I tuned in near the second half. I think when you look at the goal we conceded, though, my goodness, it was just kind of like, I wouldn't say like pathetic, but it wasn't good. Like, Alex Roldan literally passes the ball to whoever scores the goal, and then kind of a half-hearted challenge by Reagan, who are 2 guys, Alex Roldan and Reagan, who are just so madly inconsistent. So madly. Let's see, look at, okay, well, we're going to watch it right here. Why'd you do that?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oof.
And like, don't get me wrong, I think San Jose are a very like different team. Like, they kind of scared me too. We were lucky that Martinez and Arango both didn't start together. But yeah, San Diego scares me a lot. If you guys play your strongest lineup, like what we saw against Galaxy, we're cooked. I think we are. And I don't want to be too negative, but I think we might be cooked. I think best case scenario for Seattle going into this game, because also I think you guys want to follow up that LAFC game. Like, you guys won that game.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like super, like you guys could have thumped LAFC, but you guys let the game slip a little bit. I think you look at the Seattle game and you're like, okay, this is the game we can make this thing. Win it 2-0, 3-1, something like that. Like a bit more convincing. Like,
yeah,
you have a big scoreline. Now you're like, oh, people are going to really start looking at you. Even though, in my opinion, it's just like we haven't seen Seattle get a win with their full strength lineup. Their one win was with their basically a B team. We didn't play with our strongest lineup. So it's like, we'll have to see who wants to show up. Maybe Ferreira proves us all wrong. He comes up, he scores a goal, but Ferreira has went from very big, exciting signing to not looking great to fans' eyes. But again, it's a long season. There's plenty of games to be played. But yeah, dude, it's so ridiculous. Like we just played Houston, which I thought was going to be a guaranteed 3 points, and it was just a boring 0-0 draw.
I mean, is this where Seattle will live for most of the season? I mean, just kind of maybe battling for last position in playoffs.
I don't know. I want to get your perspective, outsider looking in.
I mean, it looks incredibly doable from my experience in MLS and just American soccer in general. From what I've seen, is that there's teams that just figure themselves out. There's a lot of moments where it's incredibly bad, and when it's bad, it's bad. And I just hope that San Diego never finds that divot in the road where you are the answer to somebody's problem. And if that's for Seattle to really just come in and wake up and, hey, Ferreira starts lighting it up, and that's all you needed. It's just some extra edge because, hey, they want to go ahead and take it to San Diego. San Diego's the MLS's shiny new object, so chromed object. But this is now a place where you have a target on your back. So this is no man's land, nothing to lose, essentially. And so I'm kind of hesitant to say, like, hey, it might be this way, because at any given point, these teams at this level, I've seen turn it around on a dime. Will that happen in this one? Maybe. But do you really want to be part of the story? Like, hey, after the San Diego game, they got a gutsy tie.
Charity FC, I like to call it. Charity FC. Don't be the Charity FC team.
Exactly. And we'll see if they have that lethal eye of the tiger. It doesn't seem like it in a lot of different ways. Like you mentioned, that game seemed to slip away from SDFC. They were winning 3-0, then they lose a little bit, come back 3-2 at half, but then they don't score after getting a red card for LAFC, 10 men down. That's the second time, first against Columbus, now against LAFC at home. You're not able to make anything happen. So, there's room for growth. I think, as you mentioned, Seattle may have a little bit more room to grow in a lot of areas.
I would be interested to see if we're going to see what we saw last season. But as well, at the day of recording, we did sign Ryan Kent. It will probably be a month or so until we see him play, because he's been out of contract for 6-7 months. Got his contract terminated at Fenerbahce. Mourinho said, "You're out, buddy." He was a free agent for a while, and then now we just picked him up. Maybe he makes a big difference. Who knows? Yep, that was just officially announced today. But obviously, that's not going to be a card in this conversation, because he's not going to play. But I will be interested to see if that helps us out a little bit. I don't think that's going to be, I've said it already, it's not going to be our end-all be-all forward issues. We do need a legitimate striker. We haven't had one since Rui Diaz, in my opinion. Morris, too inconsistent. You have a really good game and then 7 bad games. Have 2 or 3 good games, then 12 bad games. It's not good. I need like a legitimate striker. And again, he's another designated player. Like, even though his highest, the thing is when you think, Tony, I'm just going to get your perspective. When you look at a designated player striker, what is the bare minimum you expect from them, like for goals? Because that's what
I mean, at least a goal, and if not, an assist. I'll take an assist from a striker.
Total from a designated player. So he's one of the highest paid players on the team.
Give me mid-teens, mid to upper teens.
Give me a number.
Give me a 20. Give me 20.
Jordan Morris's best scoring season is 14, and he's a designated player striker.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We have had some very. I would take Dryer. Give me Dryer. Like if I will trade you. I will trade you. I don't know. What do you guys want?
Sir. No, sir. I was very savvy in my Yu-Gi-Oh days. I see a bad trade when I hear one. That's a holographic Dark Magician for a, regular. I don't know.
Pot of greed.
Pot of greed. Not even pot of greed. It's part of avarice. You have to give 2 back. Welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh soccer podcast. But I mean,
now
that's a very realistic outlook from you. If that's being generous. But what should, if anything, is there anything that San Diego should be looking out for? At least, hey, this guy, it's a moment of brilliance is what it takes, because we don't know what Coach Mike Ivada is going to bring back, right? He's been rotating players. He got a couple of inexperienced players, and Bombino and Ian Pilcher, who were exposed a little bit against Austin, but different situation. Fitness is really big as well. The roster isn't filled out completely. So, on a given day, what can Seattle maybe look forward to and trying to hurt?
Let's go with, he wasn't in that starting lineup, but I'll give you guys 2. I already mentioned one and I'll bring him up, but it's funnily enough, these are kids we're talking about, the younger guys. Obed Vargas, I think he could really run the midfield. We've seen him do that against LAFC. We've seen him do that in many big games. He was a big help at such a young age to why we won the CONCACAF Champions League. So I'm going to say him. In regards to an offensive player, I'm always so bullish on him, but Georgie Manunku, who always comes, he starts, he comes off the bench sometime. He hasn't scored yet this season. He's gotten a handful of assists. Hasn't gone, like, he hasn't been an out-and-out starter, but every time Georgie comes on, he creates half chances, which I really like. He creates opportunities. It's just we're lacking someone to take those opportunities. And as well, he is missing that finishing touch. But I think once he gets that one goal that doesn't need to be going off his thigh, 1-yard tap in, you look at Georgie, I think he could be a guy that could really hurt San Diego and that inexperience defensively. So I'll go with him. I'll go with Obed Vargas. When that game happens, if Georgie plays, I think he's going to be crossing up a few of your defenders, creating half chances. But you would think too, Albert Rusnak, he had the goal against San Jose was good. That's the DP level player you'd want. Problem is we don't see it that often from him. That's my only issue is. So maybe he kicks on from that San Jose game. Maybe he has another moment where he takes on a player, shoots it from about 16, 17 yards out, lasers it side netting. That's the type of cam, like, your Carls here, your Hani Mukhtars, your Evanders, your Luciano Costas. That's what you want from that level of experience cam in MLS. But I need to see it more consistently from Rusnak, especially for a guy that's been in the league since 10 years now, has been with the Sounders now for 3 years. Like, you need to be consistent. That's my big problem is this team's been together now for like 3 years now. This isn't like San Diego where we're building something new. This is almost
2 months. 2 months is how long these guys have known each other, by the way. 2.5 months.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like Seattle cannot. That's why I'm shocked every year we keep having slow starts because we just don't address the clear problems that we have and we just keep doubling down on the same team. But there has been some positives out of it. Like I said, Obed Vargas, who's likely going to be gone this summer, very likely. I don't see him staying. And I think Georgie Manungu's a good piece. I think Rothrock had a really good game against LAFC. The problem is he hasn't followed it up with any other good games. Yamar Fry, always Mr. Consistent. So we're just going to have to see. Yeah, so we look at Rusnak's goal, takes on the defender, bam. That's what you want from a DP level 10 in MLS. The problem is there hasn't been that many moments for Rusnak. So maybe he kicks on from that San Jose game, and we see that. So we'll just have to see. It's just there's not many. I would say Ryan Kent if he was available, but I'm not super like – there's no offensive player where I'm like, yeah, dude, you guys are screwed against this guy. Like I would never say that about really any of our attackers right now. Maybe excluding Georgie, but even as I said, there's still very big flaws in his game because he's so young and he's still so new to the team.
Well, I love it, man, because again, a lot of people are coming into the league very, very green to it. And I'll put my hand up there as well. And it's really good to see somebody like you. We've known each other for when was the last time you were on? We were talking about it
3-4 years ago.
That was crazy. I'm trying to find it here, but geez, it's been a long time. What else have you been up to since starting this adventure of you as a podcaster up in Seattle, in the Seattle, Washington area?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, just becoming an adult, I guess. Like, I'm working now full time. That wasn't a thing back then. And yeah, just trying to keep the dream alive. I mean, it's kind of like the same boat as you guys. I think you guys really bursted on the scene thanks to San Diego coming into the league, and you guys have seen some great success from it. And that's good because I think every team should have like, not necessarily like a reporter, but just like fans, a channel, a place to talk about it, a space, like kind of like Top Bin 90 for Charlotte. We are Austin TV for Austin FC. What we built at Rave Green TV, Orlando City Fan TV, like, and you guys as well with Two Balls and a Mic for San Diego FC. Like I mean, this very well, Tony. This is a common thing all across, like, especially in England, which that's why it's the best league in the world, because there are variety of opinions. But I think the problem with MLS is it's still growing. And you obviously you have MLS's people, like, you got the Weebies, you got the, I don't know, the Tom Bogerts, whoever. You guys get what I'm saying. But sometimes that stuff gets so like, I think it gets a little dull. Like, I think it's good to have a good variety of everything.
Yeah.
People who specialize specifically in the team and things like that. And definitely a space was open there for Seattle because we don't have that. Like, it's very we've had the same reporters since 2009. So it's like, I think new voices are good. And I think that's as well what you guys are adding. But other than that, no, nothing. I wish I could say something very, very exciting. I'm literally in the same spot I was in when we last spoke. Obviously, backdrop's a lot more cleaned up and better.
This is what we had. Two different people, by the way. Like, that's 800 pounds ago.
Oh yeah, There's
combined.
that too.
And then see where would you pop up? Right there.
See, a totally different look. Look at the camera. Yeah, time has flown.
You always tell me this, and I tell you
He's struggling to live. Struggling to live is apparently the Seattle Sounders fan base, based on how Jeremy interpreted that.
Can I change my prediction?
Yeah, change it. Go for it.
4-0 San Diego.
Whoa.
Did you not hear what Shine had to say?
I think we'll let him stick with that.
I'm
No, you already said it.
I'm in charge of writing it.
Okay,
I was kidding.
Perfect.
But
Sounds good.
I do think San Diego got the clean sheet.
I'll let one in. All right. With that, let's go ahead and switch on gears because there is another show in town, another top flight professional soccer team in San Diego representing the city of San Diego that went to challenge the reigning defending champions of the NWSL and the Supporter Shield winners. They won the double. It's difficult to go there. It was hot and humid over in Florida, down in Orlando. And this is San Diego Wave traveled and had their first loss of the season over in Orlando. It was going to be a challenge to play against the reigning defending champions. There was not a single chance that was given to San Diego Wave to even contend against Orlando. Again, much like SDFC, the pundits were like, nope, they're going to be the worst, dead last. They're not going to be good. They're certainly proving something under head coach Jonas Eideval a little bit differently. But I mean, when you go in and face the champions in Orlando Pride, it's going to be a tall task. But this was Jonas Eideval's starting 11 for San Diego Wave FC. Chiva, Abe, are we good with this? Is this the best possible out there? This lineup is 4-3-3, which yes, it did get fixed. Corley's no longer on the wing.
Yeah, so you repeat lineups, right? And I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like, it worked out, and you're facing off against probably the best team in NWSL. I mean, last season they were a machine, monsters, just destroying everybody. And so far, 2 games into the season, they were doing the same thing. So, Abe, what do you think of this? Obviously, smart move.
Yeah, it's definitely a smart move to stick with the same lineup. And yeah, like you said, Orlando just a world beater, but this is probably like the worst game I think I've seen them have in a while. Like, Orlando didn't look like they had a good performance, especially in that first half. San Diego was kind of imposing themselves on that game. What I don't know. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, no, that player right there, Barbara Bonda, was going to be the
She
X
imposes, like
factor.
she enforces herself onto every game.
Yeah.
Like you can't deny her.
And that was going to be the key towards stopping Orlando and their attack. And I got to admit that I was very impressed with San Diego Wave in the first half of what they were able to do. They were very physical. There you see Marta and Kenza
210s talking to each other. That's cool.
You love seeing that. Smiles all around. It was going to be a good game. But you know, Chiva's favorite interview this year, Kennedy Wesley, you know, just being ragdolled throughout this entire season. But that's showing the toughness and grit that she is able to have in that center back position. And you know what? She's taking a couple of hard tumbles. I won in Angel City, one here against Orlando, against Barbara Banda, and look, she held her own.
Can we
quick.
talk about how they start the game?
I just realized that too, because
Yeah.
Chiva pointed this out to me during the last game. It's something weird where you pass the ball off to McCaskill. McCaskill sends it down the left wing.
Maria Sanchez, but
No, I think it's Gia Corley. She's faster than Sanchez, right? That's Gia
that's
Corley. I
Corley.
think maybe this is like something they've been planning to do, just send Gia Corley running down the middle to start the game and
it
try and
hasn't
like
worked out. I think they need to change that.
it'll work eventually. I mean, what are you gonna do? Slowly build out? I always like it when they just send the ball and let one person take on the whole team to start the game.
Here you go,
like-
opposing team. You get the ball.
Yeah.
We don't want it.
I don't like that.
I don't know.
Play
I
it
think it's
back.
a stupid tactic. I think it's not gonna work. It hasn't worked. So they've done it. They did it twice last week, and they start off the game like this. So, but yeah, like you guys were saying, like Wave fought this game. Like if you tell me the Wave team from last season play against this Orlando team destroys them like 6-0. But they were putting up a fight. They were getting chances, and I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys I didn't get to watch a whole game for this one. I had to work on a weekend, unfortunately. But what did you guys think overall, especially in this first half?
They couldn't get much going on offense just because how offensive Orlando Pride was, and they were, you know, you gotta keep your eye behind you. They did generate some looks, some chances. Now here is already in the second half, so the first half wasn't too spectacular on either end, to be completely honest.
Yeah, they won the possession battle for sure, but just to make Orlando uncomfortable in their play style, where they're gonna pass the ball a lot too, but they're also gonna make you worry about Barbara Banda or Martha the whole game. And San Diego was like, no, it's okay. We're gonna pass the ball, but amongst ourselves and like be comfortable. Like there's some crazy moves here that they had, but just were never able to get into that attacking third with numbers for a chance for Gia Corley or an attacking player. So I think Adriana Leon has left a little bit to be desired in that 9 role. I don't know what you guys thought. Like she's there and creates that threat, but she still hasn't had a moment where she's been able to.
She needs to be set up and with everything on a silver platter. She'll be a finisher right now, but can she generate her own offense? She needs to gel a little bit more. With
She's still new
behind her.
too.
Yeah,
You're right.
100%.
She didn't join the team during Coachella. It's like she's
training camp.
Brand new still technically.
So already here in the second half, we're coming into the end of the first half. Excuse me. Just again keeping Orlando to a 0 in the first
that's
half
a win.
is impressive.
That's still that's a
100%.
win for your first half going scoreless. It's a win, and then you have the thought like, okay, we're gonna bring on subs, we're gonna bring on the teenagers. You can still
Fresh
have a
legs.
very good chance of winning this game.
Hey, look at that! Orlando started with possession, but immediately gave it up. But yeah, so again, Wave still fighting and trying to impose their will. But here you have Banda, just one of the best players in the NWSL, just creating her own offense, just kind of like we were asking of Adriana Leon. But this is a different animal altogether. Just Kennedy Wesley just chugging to get back there. Good save by Kaylin Sheridan going over to the right hand side, covering her angles. It's not an easy shot to cover because it does bounce right before. That's Captain Kaylin Sheridan.
And McNabb had a few times too where she was able to stop Brenda. So I think both center backs impressed me, and they even added a new center back, which is kind of crazy.
I'm curious to see what Tanya saw. Also, she actually made the trip all the way to Orlando to watch this game in person. So shout out Tanya. representing San Diego out there. Yeah, and I have to agree. Wave was more dominant, took more of the possession of the ball, but it's not enough to beat a team like Orlando. Absolutely. And so again, if you're kind of thinking in your mind, look, it might be a tie game here. They might squeak out with a tie. But then the set pieces start coming in, and that's where San Diego Wave starts struggling a little bit. Some chaos here, and boom, that's the first goal. Ball's in no man's land and no woman's land. But that's how the first goal ends up happening to begin the second half. Just a messy goal, just some pinball action in the small box. Just messy all around.
I feel like Sheridan kind of lost the ball there in the air a little bit. Like she didn't track it as well. I mean, she could have maybe dove there. There was contact from the attacking player, trying to get a foul, but I mean, it's an unlucky goal in a way. But I don't know. I feel like Sheridan could have maybe tracked it a little better.
Yeah, 100%. Just like bulldozed her players, right? Like that turn right there. She doesn't know where the ball is. She's just waiting to see the ball in front of her, and then just kind of react by that time. And you're right there. She's expecting a shot to deflect a shot, but it just kind of bounces off, and it just
deflects off Kennedy Wesley for a second there.
Yeah,
right. Cutchins. But I mean, it's still 1-0. You're not, the game's not completely lost at this point. And
look at this. Sorry, but at this point, you're not losing 3-4-0.
Yeah, and the first half just started too. And when you're able to like keep a team like Orlando away from a goal during the run of play, you still take that as a win. You still believe that you guys have a chance to win.
Imposing will by Barbara Banda here, a missed opportunity. I have to agree with Esteban. It's kind of hard to watch some of these games for NWSL, just kind of tracking everything down.
I think, when they actually announced the new like streaming thing in San Diego during that championship, I think it's total of like 7 different platforms or something.
Like what is it? Ion.
There's Ion, ESPN, Amazon Prime,
NWSL
Plus, CBS,
Paramount still.
Yeah, CBS, which counts as like multiple because they have like Paramount and then like CBS Sports Network and Golazo. So it is difficult for the average fan that wants to turn on a game. But at the same time, this game is probably technically one of the most watched games San Diego Wave are going to have.
Yeah.
Simply because it's on ESPN.
Exactly. And I would then promote, just local channels, Fox or somebody like, hey, pick it up. I wish I had the money. I would stream all San Diego Wave games. If it was up to me, everybody, I'd stream and have this be the platform and home of both San Diego FC and San Diego Wave. But unfortunately, I don't have the sorts of resources. Maybe if we all put a GoFundMe to buy the rights, the broadcasting rights for.
I bet we could get the broadcasting rights for Coachella. Max, maybe not anything else, but
let's try to do that.
Yeah,
I'm down to do that next year.
That'd be fun.
We know some people. If you want to see a 2 balls and a mic San Diego Punto Football production of San Diego Waves,
I was working on my voice. I told you
you were
working on my broadcaster voice.
Give me a Hannah Lundqvist.
Hannah Lundqvist.
Okay, all right. Give me
this one right here.
That's
a tough one.
Rave. That's Rave.
Chiamaka Oku. Damn it.
Okuchukwu.
That's how they pronounced it on the broadcast.
Not Choco.
Not
Choco.
That's how they pronounced it on the broadcast.
Well,
and they were wrong.
Well, they pronounced it.
Diversa Cup before.
Veras.
Okuchuko.
Mikey Veras. Why can't it all be simple? Hire the guys from TVX. Dude, again, I would love to. Shout out Ted. Give us a free discount. I'm down. I'll do commentary.
Yeah, so I mean, she gets her debut, and this is an exciting one, right? Because I mean, this is a player that I think we've all been excited to finally get to watch, get some minutes. I think she's from what we've seen on that highlight reel that Wave sent us, and what we've seen like
at Coachella a little bit. She's fast.
She's fast and she's young still, but
oi, bruv, she's rapid.
She's rapid. But yeah, so like she comes in and then magic happens.
And that's exactly what Tanya's saying right here, right? Like Wave had a lot of possession, yes, but they weren't creating chances. Defense really made me feel a little scared every time the ball was with Banda, but they had their own response in their own way, and it is in the form of Chiamaka Okuchukwu, or is Christabel. That's a preferred name. She comes in, and magic happens.
And I think she can offer something different.
This highlight reel doesn't even show her first touch, but yeah, perfect header. Oh.
She's a fast, really tall player. Like that's going to give you advantages in different points of views. I've been saying like I can see her maybe taking over a starting role in the future if she starts performing like this, coming off the bench. Like this is hey Jonas, like put me as a starter. I can make plays happen. And she did just that. Like she ties it up. And at this point, what are you guys thinking? Are you thinking, okay, Wave may be able to pull off this huge point in Orlando?
Definitely. And there were definitely some issues with the refereeing as far as VAR goes. This is my issue. I think all the calls were fine, but they took way too long to determine whether or not this was a goal if she was offsides. And they initially called it that it wasn't a goal, and I think they overturned it and made it an actual goal. But like to take away that first goal moment for a player is like the part of the reason why VAR sometimes sucks. Because like she didn't even celebrate, really. Like she just like goes and was like, oh, okay. Like that was, I thought that was really unfortunate. Like,
yeah, I don't like that, because then you get situations where referees essentially they're creating a goal. It's either a goal or it's not. And you know, you get this delayed reaction. Sav's just kind of, you know, I think as a leader,
she got a pretty big cut on her face too. I don't know if you saw that. That was
warrior out there.
So our referee,
yeah,
Roy,
here
is going to come over
referee
and take a look at it.
heads over to the VAR.
You'd have to look. Is
Children
there a foul anywhere in the attacking
in the background.
phase of play here for San Diego that perhaps
that's a
would
foul.
negate
Oh,
this
the
goal?
goalkeeper, right? The goalkeeper.
They were checking if it was offside, I think, or if it was a foul.
Checking disallowed goal foul. So they're checking if it was a foul. How on earth is that a foul? You touched the ball first. Like, are you kidding me? Like, no, I don't even know why they even checked that.
Yeah, but yeah, ultimately, still great move by Jonas Eidevall to bring on the teenagers. Everyone knew exactly what he was going to do this time around. He didn't put on Mackenzie Robbie, which Mackenzie Robbie's still a great player, but when you have that speed and potential issue up top that Schumacher can provide, and then she even made some touches on the ball that were just like we knew she had the speed, but the ability with the ball at her feet to like get around defenders was something I was not expecting, and it looked really good.
That ref is just terrible. From some of the stats that I saw just floating out there, San Diego Wave has never won a game with that referee at the center spot. Not that people are keeping score, but people are taking score. It's just one of those things.
Yeah,
and
I guess. But this right here, I think it's definitely a foul. Definitely a penalty. They were questioning it on the broadcast, saying like, "Oh, I don't know, that's kind of weak." But like you're leaving Barbara Banda with nowhere to go after she doesn't even have the ball at her feet.
Actually, I saw this game, and I highly recommend to anybody who's listening who has a chance to get on it. I watched this game in Spanish.
Okay. ESPN Deportes.
ESPN Deportes, and the commentators, both women were fantastic on it, made it exciting, and even in the women's game, the Spanish commentators is definitely so much better. So
that's great.
Shout out to them. But yeah, no, they looked at this and yep, that's a foul. That's a foul. There's nowhere to go. Contact is made.
That's a penalty.
Cascarino, hands up, like I'm sorry. She knows what she did. And ends up being
I think it was from Maroni, right? Fouled or
20, yes.
No, that's Cascarino.
Cascarino.
Maroni took the fall at the end. Yeah, mixing up French players, but
Parlez-vous français, parlez-vous foul. Then step up from the legend. We heard from Kaylin Sheridan in the interview we did last week. Thank you for joining us once again, Kaylin. Just what it would mean to play against Marta. And this moment, I just kind of flashed like, what if she gets this? Like, this is going to be
I was thinking
huge.
that same thing too. Like, we just asked her, talked to her about this.
And Marta steps up. And off the post, no goal. Wow, I can't believe it. Kaylin Sheridan did not get scored. Good job. 1-1. Fantastic game. San Diego Wave coming back with the point from Orlando. All right, we are going to go ahead and close this out. San Diego soccer and soccer everywhere is doing good. Good job, guys.
Oh, that didn't happen.
Oh.
What?
See here, Kaylin Sheridan gets sent the wrong way. Kind of bobbles like weirdly. She doesn't really.
Okay, cool. You got 2 replays already. Time is running.
Weird, like she kind of hits it.
Missed. Okay, great. Great replay, great shot, camera, production work. Look at that passion. I was so happy for her in that moment. So happy, like, yes. Yeah, 100%.
And then like 3 minutes later, too, I think the play continued for a little bit of time, and then they go back and look at the VAR.
Row.
I hate when they call this. It's so annoying.
When they call encroachment, or what? When they
call encroachment, just like if you're gonna call it all the time. This happens all the time.
Where players from the outside are coming in,
and even when they score it, and all the players are already in the box. Like, look, Hannah Lundqvist, and she's in. Like, all these players from both teams are already in the box before she shoots it. And had she scored that, they wouldn't have called it back. But there were Orlando players in the box already as well. Like, that's the issue with that rule. Like, I feel like they do need to change that rule a little bit on a FIFA level.
Where you think they should enforce encroachment more so players don't do it, or they just change it completely?
No, it gives no advantage whether you.
I think it gives an advantage on the deflection, because Hannah Lundqvist without question gets an advantage on the deflection. She's the first one to the ball, clears it easily, and if she didn't get that little extra edge, then maybe an Orlando player comes in and scores it.
I don't know. I just think it gets.
It's a ticky-tacky call, though.
It doesn't get called fairly all the time.
That's completely true. During penalties, you see this happen all the time, and you kind of forget about it.
Marta, the legend, once again steps up with her left foot. She is going to stare down the eyes of Kaylin Sheridan.
If you're Sheridan, do you think you jump in the same way? What's going through your head as a goalkeeper?
I would have stayed in the middle.
No. You have to choose a side. I would go and just kind of 50-50 it and just say, hey, maybe if I dove the other way, that's the way that she wanted to go originally. She wants to rectify the mistake that she did and make sure that she goes that way. That's her preferred way. That's her comfortable way. So if you're kind of playing the numbers, more than likely it's going to go in the same place where the first one went. And so I would have dove to the left on this one. But God damn it.
Only a Brazilian legend could do a thing like just.
I was so. Oh, she didn't have to do Kaylin Sheridan like that. She did not have to do that. Marta, you're my favorite women's player of all time. But this is filthy.
Oh, yeah, off the top too.
Oh. The moment you see it here, you see the moment where, and The Simpsons is one of my favorite moments where they pause for Ralph Wiggum and Lisa's breaking his heart. It's like you could see the moment where his heart breaks. You could see the moment where Kaylin Sheridan's heart breaks mid-flight. Right there. She's like, no.
When you're looking at it,
that is an eternal look. That took 3 weeks for that ball to hit the woodwork. Oh, nothing to do but to make the shot and the picture prettier. That's all that is, that dive. But yeah, 2-1. Started watching the Padre game. BS penalty, 100%.
Look at that touch by Chiamaka there.
Excellent.
And perfect chance for Kira Caruso one-on-one. And
at this moment, trade Caruso. What has she done to help San Diego Wave?
Oh, here we go.
She's a backup striker. I think you can't expect.
I think at this point she's the backup to the backup.
Oh,
I guess
like your 1 and 2 is Adriana Leon or Chiamaka. Like I don't know. Caruso has she's had this happen so many times. She can't dribble. She can't shoot. Like her passing's okay. I don't know how she still gets called up for Ireland, like to the international level, but I just don't think she is the best player in this team. Hot take.
I think there's still
I don't even think that's a hot take.
She definitely hasn't performed her best with the Wave, but she still has the goal scoring ability somewhere in there. And I think you kind of have to respect that and let her, especially as a backup striker, let her play that out, because even just speed wise, pressing wise, she's able to get there and make that chance. There were games last year where a player like Alex Morgan wasn't able to get that chance, or have the speed to get there. Also, shout out Alex Morgan. She just had her
Shout out,
second
baby.
string. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alex Morgan. There you go.
Alex Morgan has a child. Second child.
Second
Charlie
child.
has a brother, Enzo.
Yeah, cool. Anyways, but yeah, just Chiracusa has to make that, at least put a shot off there. Like that was tough.
Procrastinating Puna
Like,
agreeing with you.
You know what? Maybe, you know what I'll say? I think Maya Jones getting loaned was a mistake, and Maya Jones might maybe deserve that starting striker spot. Or not starting striker spot, but
over Caruso.
Over Caruso. I would have preferred Maya Jones over Caruso. Yeah,
I agree.
100%. Let's hear from head coach Jonas Eideval post match.
Post
match. That
was he pouting?
Pouting.
He wasn't pouting.
This guy just loves talking to media.
Look at that face.
He's like,
Tony's
Tony's
about to ask a
Tony. Like last time on an away game, Casey got fired after talking to Tony. God damn it! Like, okay.
I don't think the team
Let's see.
prepares.
Let's see if he even asks a question.
House match.
Thanks for the time, Jonas. Could you just start us off?
Oh,
it was me.
Hey, went first.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to be called on. If I'm
Yeah,
being honest.
you can.
I raised my hand. I had a different question, but I was like, performance. Thought on the overall performance.
It's the first question that has to be asked.
Yeah, let's hear Tony and you ask. Yeah, thanks for the time, Jonas. Could you just start us off? What were your thoughts on the team's overall performance today?
I think the performance overall is quite good. I think we're controlling the game in a good manner most of the time. It's important when we come here that we doesn't make the game too transitional, because we know Orlando is a very strong team on that. So I think we're keeping the ball quite well. We're controlling the possession. I think it's an even game. Maybe we're a little bit better than them. So of course we're disappointed with the result, but quite happy about it.
But they weren't the best team.
And could you talk a little bit about the decision to bring on Chiamaka, her first Sunday Bissell minutes, and getting that goal very early?
Yeah, I mean, Chiamaka, we thought had a good profile coming in, playing this game here. We know that there is spacing behind one of the Pride's defending line, and she's also a good player in the air, and those two things contributed in a positive way. So it seemed like it was a good game for her to come in and get her first minutes for the season.
Boss. I think that he knew he's been knowing how good Chiamaka is, and I think this was the perfect game for him to throw her on, just because it's something that Orlando wouldn't have expected.
Ooh.
And saying, okay, this is our best chance to possibly just tie and surprise Orlando and do our best shots. Like, not a Hail Mary, but it's like, hey, throw this player that nobody's really seen play and catch everyone off guard. And it almost worked.
Yeah, I mean, fresh legs. Again, it's a long trip for the rest of the squad. And just that change of pace is really something that took Orlando off the back. And Melanie Barcenas kind of doing her Melanie Barcenas thing of, flashy highlight reels for 2 seconds. But again, this is a decision that Jonas Eideval took, and it seemed to pay off. It's a net positive game. They lost. They didn't get any points, but I think this is a net positive. I do think that there was a chance that, I could have asked them, like, look, Jonas, are you guys underdogs? Like, is this a mentality? This is actually kind of goated. Again, this is why this is the people's pod. It was out there like, hey, we're seen as underdogs. The fan base would say. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that right now live. Let's ask him if Jonas Eideval believes that they are underdogs.
Points earned aside, what is the result where Orlando was only able to score off of set pieces and not open play tell you about the team that you have and how well they were adapted with their own style of play throughout the match?
No, like I said, performance-wise, I think there is a lot of positives for us.
You already
Not
said that,
only with
Tony.
the ball, but only off the
Wrong with you?
off the ball. I think we have seen as a sort of
Where were you?
common trend in the first two games that we
Working.
struggled a little bit in the second half. I think we could see today that we were, even if we lose the game result-wise in the second half, I think we can be much more happy with our performance in that half. So there is positives. There is signs of progression in the way that we play, and we need to take them with us, and be a little bit irritated that we didn't get any points with us today, and turn that irritation and frustration into positive energy in developing us further.
Any sense of being
And then I pissed him off. That was a clip that Wave actually used. His answer of like, yeah, we are irritated with this. We're going to move forward. It was a good clip. And then I pissed him off.
underdogs going in and possibly changing that narrative moving forward?
What was that?
Is
He's
there
like,
any
what?
chance of changing the narrative of potentially Wave being underdogs coming into the season and really
You're a little
cementing
ashamed with the
themselves
question
as
on
a
the
leader
second
in
time
this
around.
league?
Yeah, I was defeated.
To be honest, like I couldn't care less like what other people think about us. We value ourselves. We know where we are, what we need to work with, then everything else is just noise around us. So what other people think doesn't matter.
Great
Thank you.
answer.
Safe travels.
Yeah.
Great
Thank
question.
you.
No, that's a
Safe
great
travels.
question. I like that question, Tony. Because
Oh.
that is the narrative. Like all these experts put his team to finish last in the season.
Yeah,
They
did.
just kept up with the top dogs in the NWSL.
Woo, woo.
They almost got that point on the road. Like I like his I like the question. I like his answer even better, saying I don't care what people think about me or my club. Like we're gonna keep playing our game. We're gonna get points. We're gonna make playoffs. We're gonna make a run out of this.
Yeah.
Nobody expects them to make a run out of this.
Look,
Like
3 games in, 3rd place. I mean, 3 games in,
5th place.
5th place. Yeah, excuse me. Sure, on pace to make playoffs. With this, is this sustainable? We'll see.
Still very early on. You still have a lot of teams to play. I think next game's not. You still have an international window right now, so you get a little bit of a break. But could you guys guess how many Wave players are going to play with their national teams? Because I did the number crunching and I figured it out
Oh, is that on the UT?
on this newspaper.
No,
extra
but
paper.
was that game anywhere on the UT?
Yeah, it was
Oh wow, good job on
I
them.
would
Like page 2.
say what, like 11?
11. Okay, what's your guess?
13.
Chiva, exactly on the dot.
Damn,
11.
I
Why'd you
just
even ask
counted
me?
on the
Why'd you even
dog.
ask
I
me?
counted on the
Oh,
dog.
what? Oh, okay, that's messed up.
Asshole.
Okay, but yeah,
Uh,
11 total international players will be like leaving to go play with their national
You
team.
are hoping nobody gets injured.
Yeah,
always.
for sure.
Always.
That's what you always want from
Health
your
and
national
wellness.
breaks. But it's a big opportunity for a lot of these players, especially like the young players. They're all playing with their youth national teams. Even Gia Corley's playing with the under 23 team, which like she might even be worthy of the
She went to
senior
the-
team.
she-
call.
Yeah, she went in the final, right?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time Cascarino gets called for France, right? Since joining Wave.
I think she's been called, but she hasn't gone.
Merci beaucoup.
She was called in the past, but she elected to stay in San Diego. Which
Uh,
also another
yes.
crazy part. Daniela Arias, the new Colombian center back,
Mhm.
came to San Diego, played for I think a couple days. I don't think she traveled to Orlando.
She did not.
She stayed with San Diego, trained with them maybe twice, and then she's gonna be traveling to Japan with the Colombian national team. So
Oh.
that's tough because she came from Colombia. I heard her whole flight thing. They were telling us she went from Colombia to a flight to New York, and then from New York had to come down to San Diego
Oh boy.
because there wasn't a flight.
There's
to
no
San
connecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that just so much travel, which sucks for her. But there's gonna be so much travel for all these players. Like they're going to Europe, they're going to Japan. It's nuts.
It's the cost of being elite.
That's true. And I also did some other number crunching. How there's an insane number of players with San Diego Tires that play for the youth national teams.
Okay.
Specifically US. There's also some Mexico as well. Can you guess how many players with San Diego Tires play with the US youth national team from under 23 all the way down to U17? I haven't checked U15, but I'm sure there's some there too.
I'm gonna guess maybe 5 or 6.
No, has to be 20s.
Doing the math right now. Hold on.
So he's adding, so it's more than 5, unless he's really bad at math.
I'm communication journalism major, so not great at math, but 13 players.
Price is right. You're closer. Damn it.
Which is insane when you really think about it. From one region, one city alone, for 13 players to be involved.
That's a talent.
It's nuts. Under 23, I think it's Quincy McMahon, and then there's a goalkeeper or someone there's another player, U20, Melanie Vacenas, U19, like so many other ones. Trinity Byers technically is still going with the team. U17, you have like Kimmy Escanio. Trinity Armstrong's not even going either, but then you have like so many players from San Diego Surf that are going to college, that going to UCSD or stuff like that, that haven't committed to a professional team, that are like playing with the U.S. youth national team. And then there's also 3 players that are playing for Mexico, which is cool too. Got a little bit of the Mexican youth national team here in
Yeah.
San Diego. So yeah, youth women's soccer in San Diego. Shout out. That's awesome.
You start Chiamaka next. I can see
What?
Sanchez and Cascarino making a solid place together. Yeah.
I don't think
she's a
starts.
super
Yeah,
sub.
she doesn't
super
start,
sub
yeah.
right now.
I think she plays next game.
Maybe like second half, like start the second half, just so she still does get to play with Sanchez and Cascarino. I could see that.
But we won't see anybody play for San Diego Wave up until April 12th when they play against KC Current. That is the next game. That is going to be happening at Snapdragon Stadium.
Kansas City also probably second best team in the league right now.
Mhm. Kansas City also won in the home opener against San Diego Wave last year at Snapdragon Stadium.
I've been trying to call it the Water War. I'm trying to make that a thing. Do you guys like that or no?
Current War, what? Yeah, I follow. Yeah, I'm okay with it.
That I didn't like that response, so I'll stop calling it that.
Water War? Water. Is it with a Z?
Just the Water War.
The Water
The
War.
annual Water War. Maybe there's a different name for it. What's that movie?
Water Boy?
Water World is
Water World is a good movie. That
Is
a
there a
good
name
movie.
for like? I haven't watched that. I remember there's like a show at Universal. I remember kind of being scared of that.
Oh, like 2 years ago. Yeah. See, San Diego Football agrees. Water War. All right. So anything for San Diego Wave? I think we've covered the match, covered everything. They're coming back April 12th. KC Current. Where's that one going to be streamed at?
Snapdragon.
No, but
Ion, I
just
think.
Ion. Isn't the current in reference to electricity?
No, I think it's their stadium's right next to a river too, right? I think,
Yeah,
I think it is
like river
the
currents, and they have the river pattern in the
Mhm.
back of them. So it is both. It is both 100%. All right. So that's been San Diego Wave for this week. Finally, the reason why I was late. We were watching a wrestling match. The Invisible Man versus Invisible Stan.
His brother.
His brother, the Invisible Stan. What a jerk. He injured him. They just
He came back for injury to fight the blood feud.
There, as you can
Standing up immediately. No.
The violence that these Invisible Man just went into the ring, pinning two so close.
Oh, what a kick out.
That's so close. Oh, pushing the ref didn't agree with that call. Kind of too slow.
Oh, he pushed him
Pushed him back.
He was liking it now. Oh,
on the ref. What a cheap shot. Not okay.
But what's this? Kikutaro making his way to the ring.
Sure.
Who is this guy? I had no idea.
We're finding out.
friend.
We're finding out. He needs to be able to see.
Take over as ref.
Kikutaro can see them. He's got a chair.
Oh, that's not good.
Remsburg has been down here.
DDT. Oh, boy. Counting up. Oh, man. Bad guy's going to get
gotta
it.
see.
There it is. It's over.
Come on, ref.
He just got beat.
No, he's just such a slow count. Invisible Stan, unreal.
Just incredible. The stamina.
I agree with the crowd.
That
That's
was
a
3.
horrible count. The ref's fine now. All of a sudden,
Yeah,
what
get
are we
out of
doing?
him. Yeah, no, he's kicking him out. He's doing his job. Pins and stripes. Oh, he's holding him. Good counter. Good counter.
Clothesline.
Good counter. Hey, oh, they're on top rope. They're on the top rope. Superplex. Oh. into a pin. So close, dude. No, Chiva, you have no idea how good this is about to get. You have no clue. No!
Speared him through the table.
Oh, my goodness.
Why are we talking about soccer? Why should we be talking about this? This is real sport right here.
Still real to me. Damn it.
I don't know how Kyle Caruso plays for Wave. And this is it.
Oh, there you go. There's the connection.
Season's greetings to everybody who's joined us. 2 balls and a mic. This is San Diego's People's Pod, San Diego's #1 soccer outlet. We'll be back within the week with more
We'll
action.
be back next week for Tony's first ever episode. Not making it.
Good job ruining the surprise.
Yeah.
We talked about not doing that. So.
Oh, fine.
If you stayed this long.
If you stayed this long.
Everybody's staying this long.
Love you guys.
Thank you for joining.